You're muted, bro.
It's weird. I didn't mute myself. That's the problem. All I said is it's not a celebratory papal stream, but it's a party anyway. Welcome to a Tuesday night show here on the WCBS channel. I'm your host, Jeff, but you already know that because you've been watching this channel for like 11 years at this point. So thank you. But folks, we have a lot of stuff to talk about, and we also includes my co-host. Say hello to Andy Andrew.
What's going on, Jeff? What's going on, chat? It's good to be back. It's been a couple weeks. I hope you guys are staying safe, staying warm. I know a lot of the country is getting hit with the old winter storm. So hopefully all of you guys have been safe and toasty indoors and not had any issues with power or disruptions in your internet and all that stuff. And you're still able to game and watch stuff, and especially world-class bullshitters. Yeah.
So speaking of the snow and the audience, folks, we have a poll in the chat. Are you affected by the snow? And as of now, 73% of you are saying yes. But Andrew, I didn't realize that we have experience points and other things for top fans here on YouTube. Have you noticed this? Because this is new to me.
So I've noticed in recent, I don't know, weeks or a month or so that like when I watch a video, now there's, what do they call it? Like hype points or something like that you can add to the video. I don't know what that does for the creator. Like, does that boost them in the algorithm or something? If so, cool. I'll start doing it. Otherwise, I don't really care if it doesn't benefit the YouTuber that I'm watching. But I have noticed that like the chats now for live streams will like have different things like, oh, like top poster or whatever, right? And things like that. But YouTube's shaking up a lot of things.
Well, I'm liking it because I like that we have top posters. Our top poster, our number one fan, according to the YouTube metrics, sponsors every live stream we do, folks. So shout out to Shrebbles08. We have a word of the day. And according to the YouTube metrics, you are the number one listener by a large margin. You have 375 experience points. Crouching Taylor Hidden Swift is number 2 with 75, tied with Clone Geek, who has 75. Then Andy Jurassic 1819 with 25, Jamie Jackson and Dark Anubis all also tied with 25. So folks, thank you. Let's just get those numbers up.
Yeah.
Let's go for 1 million. You know, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, why not?
So Shrebbles08 brings us the word of the day, and it's a little late, but it's still good. You know, it's going to make me a bit hungry. And the word is corn dog. Debbie does corn dog. He-Man and the master of the corn dogs. Freddy got corn dogged and corn dog wars and a few corn dogs more. Well,
dude, where's my corn dog?
Fistful of corn dogs.
Honey, I Shrunk the Corn Dogs.
Honey will leave you. Let's see. Clear and present corn dog.
Corn Dog Horizon.
Next month is an important month. It's Black History Month. Let's do the corn dog purple. That's for you, Oprah.
That's good. That's funny.
Is she though? I watched a video on Oprah recently, like that. Apparently, she's like a demonic force. They'll put anything on YouTube today, so
I was just to say, there's been a lot of stuff on YouTube. I think she's just a really rich person that gives away a ton of free crap. Whether or not she's a good person behind the scenes, I have no idea. I don't know her.
Look, I'm not going to simp for Oprah, but if she wants to buy me a house, a car, get me set up in business, and help me get going, Oprah, we're right here on YouTube. Help me out. Look at this face.
You want to be world class, Oprah? You're rich, but are you world class?
She's legendary. She's not world class yet. Like Oprah,
not the same thing.
0.08% of your wealth, you will be the most world class celebrity of all time.
Yeah.
Do for us what you should have done for Hawaii, and then we'll talk. But,
oh man,
what's that
Hawaii.
We got some great corn dogs or titles like Little Shop of Corn Dogs.
That's good.
The Bad and the Corn Dog. Let's see.
Dirty Corn Dog.
Corn Dog Another Day. Corn Dogs Are Forever. Fried green corn dogs.
Live for your corn dog.
Our friend Shrebbles08 also says, hey, Andrew, sadly, Scott Adams died. Number 69, please.
I did actually see that.
Is that the Dilbert guy?
See that. Yeah, it was the guy that created and wrote and drew Dilbert for many, many years.
Dude, since we're talking about comic creators that passed away, Sal Buscema died, folks. You might not know him, but he's a legend. The guy, I know you've seen his imagery from Marvel over the years because he's one of those like most prominently featured Marvel artists of all time kind of guys. He was one of the last living legends from Marvel Comics. His brother, John Buscema, also a legend. People would argue he's the greater of the two. I'd argue that Sal was just as good, just as consistent, and had a longer run on books and had a bigger presence in terms of like a regular work. Now, John is my personal favorite, but Sal Buscema is not a second-rate artist to anybody. But the guy lived
not at all.
So it's kind of like, while it's sad that a legend passed away, he lived a long life. So,
yeah, no, we've seen a lot of comic legends pass away in the last couple of years, sadly.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, dude. We're in a window of time where a lot of celebrities, comic creators, people that are important to the entertainment that we grew up with are passing away because, look, we're almost 40. That means these guys are 90 for the comics, some of them. Look at McFarlane. I think McFarlane's closer to 60 than he is anything else. I mean, we're getting into the window where all of the people we grew up with are sadly dying out because it's just that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shout out to Clone Geek for reading The Defenders from Sal Buscema.
Nice.
By the way, Andrew, my internet or our connection's a little wonky, so if it seems like we're not clicking, there's just a little.
Oh, okay. Might be a bit delay. Yeah.
I blame the snow.
Gotcha. Fair enough. We'll make it work.
Were you a big Dilbert guy?
I consider myself a big Dilbert guy. Like every single Saturday and Sunday morning, when my dad would, bring home the paper, from the grocery store. I'd read the funnies in there, but while Dilbert was one of the ones that I would read, I was more of a Calvin and Hobbes guy. Like I have a stack of the collected editions of the Calvin and Hobbes stuff, and those are fantastic. Like that's some of the most clever and fun writing ever.
Speaking of a clever and fun writer, folks, say hello to Mr. Aaron Sparrow.
Why, hello there.
Welcome, Obi-Wan. Your presence is now requested at the Jedi Council, so welcome, join. You have the rank of master, but Anakin, you don't. Deal with it.
Surprised to be sure, but a welcome one.
So we had a super chat talking about Scott Adams. Aaron, were you a Dilbert fan at all?
Yeah, I mean, there was a point where, I was not like a hardcore Dilbert fan, but I had bought a couple of the collections when I was working a cubicle job, and they definitely resonated. So I got into it for a little while.
I just remember Stone Cold Steve Austin was on the Dilbert cartoon, and I watched the Dilbert cartoon because it was just on. Mm-hmm. But that's how I remember Dilbert, Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, yay!
Whatever it took to get you in, right?
Hey,
get you in the door, you put Stone Cold on, you're gonna watch it.
Hey, I watched those episodes. I just never bought anything. But you know what? Dilbert and Duckman live in that same window of weird 90s cartoons or early 2000 with Dilbert that I used to watch, and I haven't thought about in years. So maybe I
like Mallard Fillmore. That was a fun one. Like even young Andrew was like, this is interesting. This is clever. And it was a lot of socio-political commentary that he was writing into that, but I don't know, maybe that had an impact on me, and that's part of why I at least think I can speak and write above what a lot of my generation seems to be capable of at this point.
I couldn't stand Duckman just because I hated the animation, and Jason Alexander's voice was I liked him on Seinfeld, but as Duckman he was super grating.
See, I'm not a Seinfeld guy. It's like, if you wanted to torture me, you would just put on every episode of Seinfeld and then laugh. Because I've tried to watch that show and I don't laugh at anything. Muffin Tops, Spare Square, Soup Nazi, none of that shit makes me laugh. I'm sorry. I don't think that show is funny. That's my hot take for the night. Seinfeld is not funny.
I love Seinfeld.
What if I put you in front of The Big Bang Theory?
I would rather watch Seinfeld.
Okay.
Because
and all sins are forgiven, Jeff.
Well, here's the thing, dude.
We forgive you.
The three of us have been into the geek culture stuff the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that show paints everybody that's into that shit as a Sheldon Cooper weirdo or a Leonard loser or a cucked out comic book store owner. Sometimes we are going to talk shit and say stuff and be the different type of guy. Like, I just hated that show tried to paint all people into a corner, and then everybody acted like the characters on the show at conventions. It's like, listen, if you say Bazinga, I'm gonna smack you in the fucking mouth. Like, shut up. I hate that show with a fucking passion. Sorry for cussing. The show's called World-Class Bullshitters.
I had a friend who I think very accurately described it as nerd blackface.
Yep. That'll do it.
Yep.
I hated the fact that if you take the soundtrack away, there is nothing there that's funny. It's just or if you take the laugh track away, it doesn't even, like, you just recognize the fact that, now I recognize it just watching the show, but like when you show it to people with the laugh track removed and they're like, oh, this isn't funny at all. And it's like, no, it's convincing you that it's funny because you hear people laughing. And if you're at all in the nerd space, they think that they're going to get you by going like, they reference Thundercats and Transformers. That's something that I enjoy. Therefore, I must enjoy this show. And you don't enjoy it. It's terrible. It's awful.
It is, man. Like, I don't want to, ruin a lot of people's fun, but I'm glad that show is dead. And I'm glad that its impact isn't as lasting. It's like this, the influence of that show on geek culture has pretty much gone. Like, geek culture's gone back to its stuff. You still have those type of fans that think that's the space, but it's also not being reinforced by a weekly episodic television series. So
it's Funko Pops is what it is.
Thank you. I look at Funko Pops
that is
as
actually
the perfect representation. That
is the best description that I have heard actually of that show. That's actually two of them. So the nerd blackface, that's pretty good, but then like it's the Funko Pop of like geekdom, basically, right? So you like, all right, congratulations, you spent $8.99 on a Funko Pop or whatever the hell those go for.
You're wearing a Bazinga t-shirt. You're such a huge nerd.
You're a super hardcore guy, right? You walked into Hot Topic you walked into Kohl's and found a freaking Flash t-shirt. Congratulations. They didn't have it because they were supporting geek culture. They had it because Sheldon Cooper was wearing one a couple of times on the show, right? Like, you didn't, guys like us who drop a lot of money on this stuff know a little bit differently.
Is foil variant my friend Julio? Because that's who coined it in my life, nerd blackface.
No, foil variant. That's my my buddy Spencer, my co-host on our weekly new comic book review show on Thursday nights.
Okay.
So, folks in the chat, have you ever witnessed somebody partake in nerd blackface? I know I have. Let me know down in the comments below in the chat, because I want to read your best fake geek story. Aaron, what I do at every con, and Andrew, this applies to you too, is if anybody seems like a faker, I always ask them one question. What do you think about Jack Kirby? If they don't know who he is, I just stop listening. Because if you don't know who Jack Kirby is, yeah, it's like, you don't even have to be an acolyte of the man, because he's not my favorite artist by a lot. But if you at least know his name and you walk into a con and you're like here to talk about comic books, get out, man. He created most of Marvel.
Like, yeah, if you're new, I forgive it. If you're like, I just got into comics, blah blah blah, then all bets are off. But if you if you're presenting yourself as an expert or trying to speak from an area of like arcane knowledge and you don't know who Jack Kirby is, get out.
Yeah.
And this week I would add Sal Buscema to that list, because we just lost Sal, and I think I retweeted
we were just talking about
your tribute to him, because I didn't have anything better to say. I just his work, but his work on all the different Marvel characters, but particularly his run on Spectacular Spider-Man was a huge part of my childhood.
Same. Him and Alex Saviuk, who I actually got to know. He's a cool dude.
He's super cool.
Yeah, he's so nice too. I respect that. I mean, the work's great. The stories are great, but that's awesome too. But yeah, Sal, dude, I'll give him credit too. He's one of the few artists that was able to reinvent his style to catch up with the image boom of the 90s and not suck. Like, his Spectacular Spider-Man, from the beginning of when it started to how it ended, when it got more angular with heavier blacks and it was more extreme, I think his shit reads better than Todd McFarlane's a lot. Like, I like Todd McFarlane, but Sal Buscema is a Spider-Man artist I personally would rate over him. I'd rate many Spider-Man artists over Todd, but
yeah, Todd was style and flash at the time, which I think was good. But when I was reading each book week to week, and you had Web of Spider-Man with Alex, and you had Spectacular Spider-Man with Saviuk, and even though you had Michelini writing McFarlane stuff, like I was really enjoying the other books just as much, if not more. I mean, I looked forward to Todd's style just because it was so different. I wanted to see him draw each character. So like, you know, he was doing Marvel Tales covers at the time too, where he'd be like, he's drawn the Molten Man. And I'm like, oh, what does Todd's Molten Man look like? You know, I had that kind of interest. But yeah, I think as a draftsman, as a storyteller, you know, everybody who was working on the books at that time was better at those things than Todd was.
And you know what, though? I would argue that is the best window for Spider-Man. Because, yeah, I know like the classic Amazing stuff is iconic. I'm the guy that's going to be fighting for it. But like, I when I was getting into buying comics, I would get excited because I'm like, oh shit, I have the issue that would come next in this storyline. And it just like they all weave together. Like the time Robbie Robertson went to jail and Tombstone got involved, like the shit they pulled from the cartoon, or for the cartoon, excuse me. A lot of that comes from that book. You know, go back and read it, folks. That's Jeff's recommendation. Spectacular Spider-Man, especially issue 200. That's a good book. The Death of the Green Goblin. Now, speaking of the opposite of death, we have Life, a new host on the show. Say hello to Script Doctor. What's up, buddy?
Oh, you know, just surviving 3.5 feet of snow.
I thought 1 foot of snow was bad here. I can't talk shit anymore.
No.
Yeah,
I'm good.
It was pretty funny. Yesterday, I opened my door, and the snow was good 8 inches above the door handle in height.
Oh no!
And we had to rush downtown into Toronto to clear up the snow so we could get the production on time because we had a 2 p.m. call. We managed to pull it off. You see about 200 people with shovels just trying to dig out a 100 square foot section of a parking lot so we can get all our gear in for Video Village. It was pretty impressive.
I just played with a snow speeder. By the way, folks, if we hit our super chat goal, I will embarrass myself by going out in a parka and going through my yard with a snow speeder, reenacting that scene where Luke crashes down into the snow. And I don't have a Dak figure, so we're just going to act like other pilot Luke is Dak. Don't question the authenticity, but I'll do it. I'll make you laugh.
I mean, all Dak has to do at that point is.
Yep. Oh, Aaron. We're going to be talking about toys and stuff and He-Man and all that shit tonight, but I wanted to tell you something, man. Some people might get mad at me, but, well, as I drop this shit, I am pretty much back into and happy with the Black series for the original Star Wars characters. Like, they don't suck. I don't like Hasbro toys that much, and I'm the first to bitch and make videos about it. But like this Princess Leia is great. This Han Solo is the best one I've seen it from an American company. The Darth Vader, the Chewbacca. Luke needs work, but other than that, like these are awesome. So they're just sitting on my desk. I hope they don't shit the bed with more, future Star Wars stuff. I'm really.
Well, I mean, they're doing some good stuff. They're doing some expanded universe stuff that I like. They're, and it's.
I grabbed all of their Old Republic stuff.
Oh yeah, so like, I mean, if they got into doing Old Republic figures, they've done a couple. They've done Revan, they've done Malik.
They've done Malik, they've done Bastila, they've done
Dash Rendar is what I'm
They've done Nihilus, they've done both Jedi Knight and Darth Revan, and a handful of others. Like I'm waiting for them to finish out the crews of both KOTOR 1 and 2.
Yeah,
hurry up and give me the rest of them.
Oh, they did Zalbar. Or wait, was it Zalbar? No, it was the evil. Yeah, it was Zalbar.
Yeah, they did Zalbar.
Not the evil Wookiee from 2. Yeah, I want Kira from that series. I want Mission Vow. I want Etten Rand.
I want Jolie.
Yeah, Jolie. Which should be pretty easy, right? Like,
right?
he's just a bald guy.
What you trying to say?
He's just a bald guy with a goatee and Jedi robes. It's not that complicated. It's not like doing like Atten Rand or Karth, who have to have a specific outfit. Give me all of those characters. Give me Darth Sion. Give me Kreia. Like I want everything.
Oh, I'd love to get both a Jedi Master Kreia and a Darth Treya. That would be incredible.
I made a Vandar. I made a Master Vandar for my 3 3/4 figures, and I made the TM. I can't remember the last parts of his the little droid, the R2 unit essentially for Old Republic TM something.
Aaron, did you say 3 3/4? Because I collect those too, the new ones.
Yeah, no, I like the 3. See, I'm way more likely to get the 3 3/4 stuff because it goes with everything else and all the vehicles in my collection. When I was really into Star Wars and I was customizing the hell out of them, I'm never gonna mix Star Wars with my other 6-inch action figures, so the Black Series doesn't appeal to me quite as much. But especially the way they show up at Ross for $4, I'll pick up 3 3/4 all day.
$4. Try 49 cents. Woo.
Oh,
Check out my new video, folks. There are literally Star Wars toys from the Acolyte being clearanced out at Ross for 49 cents. I got proof. Watch the video if you want to laugh. Because if you noticed the theme of what we just discussed for the last 2 to 3 minutes, all legacy or video game expanded universe Star Wars stuff, classic established geek culture that we're all happy to spend money on. That's the theme of what we're about to get moving forward. Because you can have everybody tell you that streaming shows are the greatest metric, and that's why we need more Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, and other random bullshit like that. But streaming is a metric that takes so long to get real numbers by, you can't really gauge it accurately. So it's safe to assume, based on merchandise, that people aren't resonating with it. So thank you, Acolyte. You were the biggest failure financially on toy shelf in Star Wars history.
And that's saying something, too.
It's worse than Ray, which tells you something.
Oh, gosh. I remember when I was still a freaking GameStop store manager. I think what was the last year that I was at? It was late 2020. And my store here in Texas, it was in Austin, back when I was down there. My store still had a Ray from Last Jedi.
Ooh. Well, there's a legitimate fan base
clearance down so far, and just nobody wanted it.
But even though there's still a legitimate fan base for Rey, I have seen them at various cons, like dozens of girls dressing up like Rey. It's like, oh, you're tourists to Star Wars. Hello.
Yeah. They're Funko popping is what they're doing. They're Funko popping along. They're Big Bang Theory. Oh, I love Star Wars so much.
Mm-hmm.
See, I want like what our sphere is to be accessible to everybody. But what I find is the problem is that everybody that you call a tourist, we'll just use the phrase tourist because I've used it too. Fuck, I put it in the video today. It's like they come in and they ruin the beach. This used to be a pristine land. Yeah, there was some dog shit every once in a while, but the beachcomber came and picked it up every morning. So there was a little bit of mess every once in a while. But now you have this influx of new people, and it's just potato chip bags and cans of beer and all this shit that's kind of just muddying it up. And yeah, the vista's nice, the sun looks great, but you're mired in shit when you watch this stuff. And so for as much as I want everybody and their aunt to be into this, I don't want the companies and the producers to curtail it to them because it takes away the spirit and soul. Like, we're not angry guys about anything. If this shit was as good as it used to be, like fairly recently, we'd still be buying it and you wouldn't hear about us on the internet. But it's a situation where it's like, when more people come in, it dilutes it. It doesn't make it, like, wrestling got better when the Attitude Era got hotter. They didn't change it. So
you just described the allegorical plot to Back to the Beach. Because that's what it is. Curmudgeons, the parents go back to the beach, and then you have a bunch of greaser posers coming in to take over the beach and ruin it for everybody. And some people are saying, well, do we want to accept them and let them in there? But no, we want to fight it. And then they decide to do a surfing competition to determine who wins the beach.
I'm all down for surfing competitions. That episode of Batman where he and the Joker.
With him and Joker? Yeah, great one.
That's like top 5 for me.
It's a season 3 with Yvonne Craig, sexy Batgirl. Yeah.
Yeah, Batgirl was sexy. Catwoman was sexy. I mean, look, they were all having orgies on that show. That's not a rumor.
Probably.
That's just what went down.
One of my favorite episodes from season 3 is the one where the feminists take over and there's a woman appointed commissioner, and James Gordon is fired and everything. And the reason behind that is because the mayor's wife refused to cook dinner and do laundry, and that he's been wearing the same shirt for 3 days. And what's hysterical is that it mocks both the male and the female part. It mocks the machismo of male because they said they can't do laundry, they can't cook for themselves, they can't do anything. And then it mocks the women who are like, yeah, we do all this stuff, but we can't do any of the macho things or protect and serve because we see robotic mice and end up jumping on desks terrified that they're around. It's a brilliant show. It's like, I love how it still has commentary that affects even to today. It's how well written it was.
And every week we talk, you make me want to watch that show more. So I just need to buy it on Blu-ray. Commit. I own the animated series. Hell, I even own this Hot Wheel edition of the Batman and Robin Batmobile. but I don't own the Adam West show yet.
I dig that.
It was just on my desk. I got random shit all over, dude. I didn't plan that. But you know what I did plan? A show where we talk about stuff. I'm having a great time. I hope you guys are. There's a couple topics I want to hit before we have to switch up the lineup. So, Aaron, I got to know what you think about this He-Man trailer, because the guys and I on the podcast are all younger, so we didn't grow up with He-Man. He-Man was a relic. He showed up in 2002. We were all in high school doing other shit. So He-Man we missed it. Mm-hmm. The four guys on the show, we all think the trailer looks fine. Like, doesn't really look bad. We're mildly interested to positive towards it. And that's kind of all we wrote. But you're a longtime He-Man fan and a toy collector. What are your opinions on the trailer? And second question that I would like you to ask first, did you see the toys that dropped today, or at least the images of them?
Yeah, I saw the images of the toys. I will be skipping the toys. There's nothing about those toys that impresses me. There's nothing about the movie designs in toy form that makes me want to have them. That said, when the stills came out the day before the trailer dropped, I was really unimpressed. Like, I was just completely indifferent. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I was just like, oh, all right. Then I saw the trailer, and I actually really liked the trailer. I think the trailer has a lot of good things going for it. I didn't have the same complaints that, people came out and, usual suspects had the same, oh, they got he, him, they got pronouns, the trailer. I'm like, it's a joke. If you notice, as they pan up past the he, him, which, by the way, his name is He-Man, so there's a little thing there, it pans up to Adam, and he looks like his soul is dead, as any one of us would be working in that environment. And then the very next scene is some shaven-headed HR lady telling him that his obsession with swords is maybe not a good fit for HR. So
his masculine hobbies are bad for HR, and that's the same woman who was in Agatha all along. As one of the witches. So here's the funny part. The advertisement puts her as a bad guy or an antagonist. That's a positive. And the he, him, I thought it was a good joke. Sadly, it's going to be dated in about a decade, but it's a good joke. I am shocked how many people didn't get it.
I'm not.
Well, no, I'm not either, because when you
people are stupid.
Yeah, what's the saying? When you're a hammer, everything is a nail.
I wasn't shocked by the usual suspects. I was just shocked by the people that aren't the usual suspects that didn't get it.
It's like I thought the joke was good. I think it's setting up like the Incredibles. Bob being working in the insurance office. I think that's what they're doing. I have a very good friend who's a Hollywood agent. He read the script. He said that if they stick to the final draft of the script that he saw, and it doesn't get butchered by the studio or with reshoots or God knows what, he goes, it's going to be good, because he's a He-Man fan. And he goes, the Earth stuff is the setup. It's a little bit of comedy at the beginning, kind of fish out of water to kind of like gear up newbies who maybe are coming into the theater. But then once you get to Eternia, it's a He-Man movie. And
kind of immersed Thor.
In the last 25 years or so, there have only been really 5 major IPs that have done the whole send the hero to Earth or to an outside world for them to kind of acclimate and then come back to save the day. First one is technically Harry Potter. Then you have Thor. Then you have Jupiter Rising. And then you have Aquaman. Those are it. There's none other of that at the same level of budget or legacy IP that's ever used that story before.
Not a lot of great examples. Not a lot of them worked out, but
hey, Aquaman,
I guess it's
I was going to say that first Aquaman made a lot of money, and the Harry Potter franchise is pretty big.
I would say Harry Potter, Thor, and Aquaman are probably the 3 that actually kind of got some notice. Jupiter Ascending got the wrong impression.
That's the one but that was the quality of Jupiter Ascending, and not necessarily the whole Earthbound plot.
Is Mila Kunis in that one? Is that the right movie? Okay, because I was like,
I did see that. I saw that with my ex.
She's the queen of the bees, and Channing Tatum is a man mutated from a dog.
Oh, charming taint man.
He's not a Mog though. Mog is way better than whatever Channing Tatum.
He's not his own best friend, is what you're trying to tell. Right?
Pretty much. No. He's a bad boy. You got to rub his nose in it all the time.
Aaron, I got to tell you though, man, it's refreshing to hear that, because I am all about like people giving an honest take. If you like something, cool. If you don't, hey, I still respect that, no problem. But I kept hearing like the same silly He-Man responses, and I'm like, I get it. You want authenticity and accuracy. I do too. But as somebody who doesn't actually like He-Man at all, I thought the trailer's going to get me into a theater. If it's cool, I will like this movie and I will talk about it positively. If I think it sucks, obviously you're going to get that too. But it's just nice to hear somebody else go, yeah, all right, cool. Not like I'm dreading it like everybody else.
No, I'm optimistic. I think that I mean, look, when he pulled the sword, I wouldn't have thought this, but when he pulled the sword and he did the whole "I have the power," and you see Castle Grayskull behind him and all the energy going around, like I got a little bit of a chill. I was like, oh shit, this is legit. And then Skeletor looks legit. The fact that I'm not having to look at Jared Leto in prosthetics, it's like a completely CGI'd Skeletor face. I really dug it. The villains all look good. I don't care that Idris Elba is playing Man-at-Arms because Idris Elba rules.
It does. It does confirm, though, that he's not the father of Tila because, unless on the human species, black genes are not the dominant genes when you procreate with a white woman.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's Fisto, huh? Because Fisto's in the trailer, and he's the other ginger. And
he
I know
fisted
people
real
were
good.
saying like he fisted hard, and he will fist them all. The fact that Camila Mendez is playing Tila, like when people are like, oh, they cast a Hispanic actress, I was like, I don't care as long as her hair's red. She's just got to be pretty and her hair's got to be red. And it looks like they did both. So, I'm fine with that. Roboto looks a little wonky. I think there's a couple of instances where I'm like, Man-at-Arms costume could be a little more accurate, could at least be in the right color scheme. And that's not a comment on the actor. That's a comment on the costume. People on Twitter got pissed at me for saying that. They're like, you're just a racist. And I'm like, I'm talking about the costume, dickhead. But I'm really optimistic about it. And I'm looking forward to it. And I hope it's good. And for the people saying that like the beginning seems kind of silly. He-Man is inherently a silly property. I don't know what cartoon you watched back in the day, and they've certainly done, the 2000 one was a little more mature, but you're still dealing with a universe that has characters named Ram Man who slams his head into things, and characters named Manny Faces because he has many faces. So
I love that toy.
Yeah, the toy's great. And then like later ones too, where they gave you swappable ones so he could have even more faces. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
So just
do you think we're healing in terms of like adaptations? Like, is this let me rephrase it. Could this be a sign that Hollywood's like, hey, we're just gonna make stuff a little closer to get people back?
Well, it's less fear. So it's less fear because the response to Deadpool and Wolverine, with Wolverine finally being in the yellow suit, made waves. Like people said, oh, they don't find it ridiculous. I mean, yeah, that's because a lot of people in Hollywood, especially on the production side of things, are embarrassed to work on something that could have a serious story but have a very silly aesthetic. And only Lauren Schuler Dahmer was the one that always fought for, no, you have to lean into it. You cannot be afraid of the IP. This is why it made it successful. And it looks like we're starting to see that more and more with some of these adaptations as they're coming through the pipeline, because I know one of the set designers for Masters of the Universe, and they were super happy when they did their initial sketches, which was just based off of the Filmation series and of course the toys, and they got a thumbs up. And I mean, that's amazing. Like you never get that. You always say, oh, you got to make it more cool. You got to make it do this or that or whatever. You
got to put it in black leather. That's cool, right?
Black leather. Yes. It's a children's property. We have to make sure it doesn't feel like it's for kids. It's like, no. Hit the child inside of us, give it a little bit of an earnest presentation, and they'll do just fine. Because He-Man had a ton of jokes. I'm just curious, like, is Orko in this? And will we see him?
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see Orko. And dude, when I saw Trapjaw, and I was like, that looks like it's an exactly toy accurate Trapjaw. And then I was like, Beastman looks dope. I was like, show me Merman. Where's Merman? I want to see all these guys. Allison Brie looks great.
She always does.
I do hope they fix the color timing though, because I did notice that their yellows and greens were not correct, because in many of the shots, Cringer looks like he's a Great Dane as opposed to a green and yellow cat.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Battle Cat?
Yes.
Okay, because I was like, wait, I thought the cat was green because I have that toy. Like I went to a yard sale as a kid and picked up He-Man stuff, so I've had it. It was in the 90s when
I think I'm the only person on this panel that knows absolutely nothing about what's going on. I know who He-Man is.
You're telling me right now.
And I know She-Ra's from the same universe, right? And I only know about her because the whatever the reboot series that they did a handful of years back that everybody was,
I forgot that existed.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I don't think I've ever watched a single episode of the He-Man cartoon or anything tangentially related to it.
Well,
I'm not.
It was before my time.
You're like most of the people in the world with the Netflix She-Ra series.
Yeah, but I learned, yeah, I learned who it was, and I was like, oh, well, okay, that's whatever.
Yeah, so She-Ra is the twin sister of He-Man, of Adam, who was kidnapped as a baby by Hordak and taken to Etheria.
And raised as an agent of Hordak until the spell was broken and she became herself. It was the first. That was my introduction to Masters of the Universe because when I was born and I was a kid, that played in more syndication than He-Man did. And on top of that, there was an employee at the bank that my family would visit on Fridays, and she looked exactly like She-Ra. And so I just kind of fell in love with her and that cartoon at the same time as this toddler. And then I saw He-Man and thought that was pretty awesome. But yes, that the She-Ra story is inspired by Return of the Jedi, because when George Lucas did the whole Luke and Leia twin thing, Filmation team said, you know what, that's a good idea to sort of diversify and expand to a little bit of the female audience and have a fun little connection there, and an homage to Star Wars, a great science fiction story, or sorry, sci-fi story that kind of echoes a lot of the similarities that they incorporated in He-Man.
Yeah, so Hordak was part of the He-Man toy line, but he came after the Filmation show fell out of syndication. Mm-hmm. So Hordak and the Evil Horde were just moved over to the She-Ra property. And so if you were, a girl that was buying the She-Ra toys, but you wanted the villains that weren't like Catra and the female villains, you would have to go to the He-Man line to pick up Hordak and Mantenna and Leech and Grizzlor and all of those.
That was a big mistake that Mattel made, is that they gave the Barbie team the She-Ra doll, and they didn't make a She-Ra action figure from the He-Man series like they should have.
Yep.
You know what? I'm going to say something I've never said. All this He-Man talk, I'm currently looking to buy a damn He-Man figure to add to this pop culture collection. Like literally He-Man and Skeletor. Don't they belong next to Hercules from the Legendary Journeys and Inspector Gadget and Pee Wee Herman?
Yes,
indeed.
All right, fine.
And Mask.
I'm going to recommend the He-Man figure for you to buy. Find the Masterverse Battle Armor He-Man.
All
He's
right.
got the silver chest armor, but he also comes with the traditional harness that He-Man wears. But it's got the best head sculpt and good accessories. And if there's anything missing accessory-wise, you're like, he didn't come with a shield. I'll send you a shield. I got
shields for days.
Yeah. I'll send you Thunder Punch. I'll send you Thunder Punch He-Man. You can give him some extra weapons. And
so it's called Masterverse Battle Armor He-Man?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I typed it in. Oh man, I wanted the Dolph Lundgren one, but they never got the license to the head or whatever, and they switched it. Right?
Yeah, it didn't look right. You can get a Frank Langella Skeletor though, which is nice.
They should have just used him in this movie because he came back at the end credits. So
I hope he gets a cameo as somebody. The funny story about Frank Langella that I've heard told is that he was a bodybuilder. Like he actually worked out hard. And so when he got cast as Skeletor, he showed up thinking that he was going to be, he showed up extra jacked. And then their fear was they put him in robes because they were like, oh, we just don't want Skeletor to seem too sexy.
Has that ever been a concern?
Dude, hold on.
There are
I need
people
you
in
to
Hollywood that are
repeat those
nuts.
words because I'm not quite sure I heard you properly, and I just want to make sure that I'm not crazy.
They didn't want Skeletor to come off as too sexy. Come on, Andrew, you haven't seen the meme of Skeletor lying on the bearskin rug, but the rug is Battle Cat. It's a green and orange rug, and he's laying there like the Art of Seduction, wearing nothing at all but a smile.
I don't have any words for that. I don't know what my response would be or should be, and I'm just gonna leave it alone.
I've said this before, maybe even on this show, but do you think when Skeletor was naming Snake Mountain, he was trying to theme it? Like he's like, I just got this piece of real estate. And then he's like, Evelyn, do you want to come? You hate He-Man. I hate He-Man. Do you want to come back with me to the Bone Zone? She's like, Beastman, how about it? You and me in the Bone Zone. Beastman's like, I think I'm going to pass, Skeletor. Why
Might want to
join me in the
workshop
Bone
that
Zone?
name.
He took over and abandoned Snake Mountain because that's from the Serpent
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Serpos is the big snake that's coiled around Snake Mountain. That's the snake god. That's like petrified. I know way too much about He-Man, guys.
Is it too much to know about He-Man, or is it just you like He-Man? I think
I know way too much about every
Interesting
property
looking.
I got into and I collected. Like I just learned. I don't being a guy, I'm like into the lore. So
Yeah, no, I
How
get
many
that.
times? How many times?
Well,
do
not
you
only
think
that, I
about-
mean, the lore that was made for He-Man, because it started off as like a safe version of Conan ripoff, And Lou Schreiber and that co said, no, we can have some more fun with this. And instead of just making a TV show, a cartoon to advertise an action figure, they decided to put some effort into it. And some of the best writers in TV worked on that series.
Mm-hmm.
And despite the fact that it has a lot of comedy to it, because again, Orko, and even when Prince Adam is trying to assuage people of him being a masculine type of guy, and of course everything that Skeletor, I mean, all the stuff that Skeletor says and does has an undertone of humor to it. Like he calls people boobs.
Hello, Rando, you royal boob.
I mean, I did,
that's a great insult. Okay,
I did encourage.
That doesn't get used enough.
I did encourage a bunch of people that I was kind of trying to get into the production to be like, you gotta have just Alan Oppenheimer just dub over Jared Leto. You don't really need him. Just have a stunt guy in there. Call Alan Oppenheimer. He's still alive. Have him do the voice. You don't need Jared Leto for this. He's actually a movie curse to a great degree.
Yeah. Maybe they'll just keep his name off of it moving forward, since it looks legit. And the last thing you need to do is remind people, hey, remember the guy from Tron Ares? Well, he's Skeletor.
Hey, remember that guy who's famous but has never been in a hit movie?
Damn.
And there's a lot.
No, not Henry Cavill.
There's a lot of swirling allegations about him.
Yeah, he has his own compound.
That's how you eliminate Henry Cavill from that. You're like, he's really popular, or everybody knows him, but he's never had a hit movie, and people go Henry Cavill, and you go, no, the guy that has a lot of allegations. Oh, Jared Leto.
Yep.
Is there anything else to say about He-Man, guys? I mean, it looks interesting. I'm getting more interested talking, but we had G.I. Joe come out about 17 years ago at this point. Will He-Man in the Masters of the Universe film fare better than the last G.I. Joe movie?
Well, hopefully it won't be. Hopefully it won't be my first date with a disastrous relationship for the
I've been there.
The way that G.I. Joe was. So I'm already hopeful.
I mean, the first good sign is the fact that it's MGM Studios, right? Yeah, MGM is doing this. MGM, I keep forgetting. MGM is leaning into what made He-Man great, where versus G.I. Joe, they pulled as far away from what made G.I. Joe as they could. And again, that is Hollywood of that era, where they get the IP, but they're just not committed to having fun with it. It's some sort of weird aversion. And you always have these divided productions where you have some of the cast who they never heard of the IP before. They do some tertiary research and like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is fantastic. I can't wait to do this or that or what have you. And then they get into their first, introduction to the production, and they're told, yeah, all those fun things that a lot of the kids and the people who enjoyed this IP loved, we're just going to spin them on their head and do it in a more modern, more cool, Matrixy style way and not really commit to it. And then everybody gets kind of disappointed, but in order to maintain professionalism, they decide, okay, let's just go with it and just try to make it the best version we can, given the fact that we're gutting some of the cool aspects of what made this IP memorable to begin with.
And by the way, we've cast Marlon Wayans in a co-lead role, so that'll be a disaster. And we recycled a script for a movie called Accelerator that Stephen Summers didn't get to make. So that'll be in there too.
And that's why they had the Excel suits.
Yep. Which I'm not entirely opposed to if they had looked cool, which they didn't. And
no, they looked like kind of just more or less like power suits mixed with like a speed skater.
Yeah, because it's not outside of the realm of G.I. Joe possibility that they would have accelerator suits. But again, that becomes the thing of like, well, if they have those, why don't they have them all the time? Why are they not using them constantly?
Why aren't that standard issue? Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron, I'm gonna also need you to tell me what Skeletor to go with my He-Man. So
okay, there's so probably, I mean, if you want to drop the cash, I think the best Skeletor is the Masterverse Skeletor that comes with the throne.
Oh, the new one?
Mm-hmm.
I saw that because I looked at this Masterverse Vintage Collection Skeletor and I liked it. I think it looks pretty cool.
That one's pretty good.
It's $30, and on Big Bad Toy Store, the other one's $50, and you get all these extra accessories. So I'm like, it's 15% off. So I'm just like, as I said, I don't have any more space.
There's an evil horde. There's an evil horde Skeletor that comes with like one of the better head sculpts. But don't buy that figure. I could just send you that head sculpt. I bought extras for customs, and so I got those heads lying around.
My whole goal, like I saw
That's
this
wild.
years ago, and I didn't want to spend the money. Is the Four Horsemen He-Man, that like line that came out all those years ago? I just want ones that look like the cartoon and like slightly more realistic.
Mondo is making those right now, really high end, 6-7 inch scale.
I might look into it. Mondo burned me with their X-Men toys. I spent $250 on a Wolverine, and the paint slop was ridiculous. Like,
oh no,
yeah.
not on that expensive of a figure.
That's why I don't buy any of their toys, because I got burned. Like, Wolverine was cool, and then it didn't turn out cool. So I'll give them. I gotta see stuff in person before I ever buy it from Mondo.
This is the problem, is because they do their exclusive versions that come with extra accessories that you can only buy through their site, which means you have to buy it direct with them so that they don't have to split any money with a retailer or offer a wholesale price. They get the whole amount of money. Super 7 does that as well, and it pisses me off. I hate that, because I want to be able to look at my figure before I buy it. I want to see it in the package. I want to see its paint job.
Same. I'm that guy that when I go to the store, I'm just like, okay, and then walk out. I don't take like 40 figures, but
when I got my Keaton Batman 89 from Mezco, and I took it out of the package, I looked at it, I went, put it back in the package, and then put it out on sale at the booth I was at Frankensons and sold it.
I have 2 of those. I didn't mean to buy 2 of them, but I have them. So one's sealed in the shipper, and one's on my shelf.
Did you get it to look good?
Yeah, because, okay, admittedly, the head and the cape part's a little funky. So what I did is I made him in that pose. Remember, he's like Junior Bird Boy, and when the Joker's in that helicopter. Why did I say skelecopter?
So he's doing this.
Helicopter is a cool toy to have.
That's my new toy. No, but I got him looking up like that in front of the back.
Better than a shirt
so it's kind of, it's kind of cool looking. But I'm a Hot Toys guy. That's my favorite Batman.
Oh, Birdman 7. Speaking of Birdman, 7926 in the chat just reminded me. He said, "Could we see the Fright Zone in the movie?" I'm sure you'll get a teaser of Hordak. I'm sure that's what the teaser for a possible sequel will be. So hopefully the movie's good and it makes enough money to justify that. But
not only that,
they just made a Fright Zone playset that I need to buy.
They're implying that one of the reasons why Adam is sent to Earth has to do with the fact that his sister is missing and he doesn't know about her.
Oh,
smart.
Yeah.
I just hope this movie succeeds in spite of a lot of bullshit, because I just want to have a good time.
It would be nice if it's a faithful adaptation that pleases fans, and it just sends a message to Hollywood that, like, oh, look, when we don't get in and cock everything up, you can actually get a successful movie.
Yeah, if you can do what was done well originally and make it work for the confines of a live action adaptation, people will respect it. But again, it all comes down to, like, well, what's your method? What's your approach? What are you trying to make this a movie that stands alone? Well, that can also contribute to a longer franchise, or are you trying to basically mystery box us and do nothing but a setup film, hoping that you're going to get a sequel where you get to pay it off? Because that's considered artistic blackmail. You're like, here's this great script. Oh, it doesn't really have an ending. It's kind of a cliffhanger. Yeah, because I want to write a second one. It's like, you're not guaranteed that. No. I'm sorry, you're just not. Make it the best you can, and then challenge yourself creatively by thinking, wow, how do I follow up that?
Mike Young Productions on the 3rd season of the 2000s He-Man teased the Horde.
Yes.
And then because they thought a 4th season was in the bag because the show was successful, but then Lego Ninjago came in cheaper, and Cartoon Network canceled the He-Man show and took the Ninjago show to fill that boys slot. So we never got that 4th season. And the designs looked amazing. They were like these Horde wraiths that were like Hordak's magic users. They made figures of them too. I bought 5 so I could have a,
They were still negotiating to get She-Ra while they were doing the 4th season pre-production on that show, right? They were still negotiating to try and get She-Ra rights, because those are She-Ra and He-Man rights are not as closely tied as people think they are.
Yeah. That's why you could do a shitty Netflix show with She-Ra and not have any He-Man in it. And really not have any She-Ra in it, because it was obvious.
But then do a crappy He-Man show after that, right?
Yeah, well, it was obvious that the She-Ra show was Noelle Stevenson had gone in and pitched something to DreamWorks TV or to whoever it is that she was pitching to. But it was obvious that she had gone on and pitched a property, and they said, well, we're not going to do that, but hey, we could give you She-Ra. And then so they gutted She-Ra and tore out the guts of it, and then tried to stitch its corpse around Noel's original pitch,
Yeah.
which happens a lot in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, it absolutely does. Hey, this is a great story. It would work better for this IP that we've been trying to sell for production.
Yeah, it's got name recognition. All the fans that love that will come to watch it and then go, "What the hell is this?"
Oh yeah, that's another thing. That because there's so many executives that are from this business school mindset, they think that any IP has a set of fans that will just cling to it regardless of its level of quality. And they think that those fans are in the majority as opposed to the fact that they're in the gross minority.
Yeah. This much. Aaron, I know you got to get going in a minute. What did you think when we found out Kathleen Kennedy was fired? Or not fired, left? Did you care? Were you
Oh,
just
I
like,
mean,
"Yeah,
no, I
whatever"?
didn't care because Star Wars is already dead. And much like CM Punk's pipe bomb speech, they're just going to give it to his idiot daughter and his doofus son-in-law, which is Dave Filoni. So, they've given Star Wars to Kathleen's idiot daughter.
There we go. Yeah, I know I put it on the title card. I have nothing to say. Fuck her. I don't care. It's over. Like,
She's gone, but
she's
But
gone.
you're
Her
right.
legacy will remain, and for her, she did the smart thing by integrating people that would carry on what she started, as opposed to George Lucas, who got fooled, sadly, by handing this over to a woman who was a capable normal producer, but not a capable creative producer.
Mhm.
Those are very two different beasts. You need a problem solved, you go to Kathleen Kennedy. She'll solve it for you. You need her to pick an idea that'd be good, that could get butts in seats. No, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah.
Folks, when Aaron steps away, we're going to talk about a rumor that just popped up about 2 hours ago. Filoni's Mandoverse crossover may shift to Disney Plus if the Mando movie flops. So there's talk that the movie might not work. So at least we have something fun to talk about. Aaron.
It's going to fail, so let's move it to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Wow, talk about preemptively shooting yourself in the foot with your blaster.
Well, the He-Man trailer, like I saw Geeks and Gamers was reporting that the He-Man trailer had more views in like the first 24 hours than the Mandu Grogu trailer has had its entire lifetime on the internet.
Well, one thing is that He-Man and the Masters of the Universe have had about 30 years of an anticipatory audience waiting for another He-Man film.
Yep.
Where Disney has oversaturated the Star Wars market, that apathy has set in.
Yep, it's the mark of crap now.
Yep.
Do you want to look at the Mattel toys before I go? I saw you had those in the.
Oh yeah. Let's check those out.
Oh,
bring them on up.
The DC Mattel toys, right?
Oh
yeah.
Sorry, I'm sitting here looking at He-Man figures to buy, and I'm just like,
that is okay. I'm like one of us. Like, there's nothing I love more than spreading my fandom obsessions to other people.
I get it.
My toy collection isn't necessarily a toy collection; it's a pop culture collection, and I want to have stuff that represents every era. So I can't accurately have. I have David Hasselhoff from Knight Rider on my shelf.
Dang,
that's He-Man.
Do you have Mattel's G.I. Joe before it became the 3 3/3, one with the kung fu grip with the thumbnail on the inside of the thumb?
I don't have a single G.I. Joe in my collection. When I was a kid, I had some G.I. Joes. Like, you could mail away for like a rescue figure and something else, and I mailed away for those. But like, that's lost the time. Like I said, I'm just a little too young for G.I. Joe, even though I think, what was it, 93 or 4 was their biggest year ever. I just,
you at least need a Snake Eyes and a Storm Shadow on your shelf.
I definitely need both of those. I actually want to get into G.I. Joe Classifieds, but I don't want to start spending a lot of money on catching up to get the cool characters.
You can get some good deals out there. There's they're still relatively cheap. There's a couple pieces that are expensive, but there's ways around it.
Is Duke cheap in Cobra Commander?
Yeah, Duke and Cobra Commander are both cheap.
Okay, cool. Like, those are two of the ones I want besides.
And I'll even paint you a hooded Cobra Commander head because they're afraid to make that because they think that people see it on the toy shelf and think that they're making a KKK figure, which is retarded. But
yeah, they don't wear blue.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, and it's and Cobra Commanders isn't pointy, so
Oh yeah, they're more white, purple, yellow.
How are we here?
Oh, because people don't know shit that are in power. So.
Gosh, people are so uneducated and just retarded.
Yeah, it's 2026. That word's back in vogue.
Yay.
Now, speaking of what's in vogue, apparently DC and Mattel are in vogue because today this new image dropped of the upcoming toy line. Now, I know you're thinking, guys, New toys aren't that exciting. No, what we mean is another company has taken over the license. And this is one of those transition periods where we can speculate and discuss what's going to happen next in an exciting manner until we get these things in our hands. So this is the 6-inch line they say is geared towards kids. And that's fine. I'm not really that interested in too many of these characters. But Aaron, when you saw this image, what were your thoughts, man? And then I'm going to go roundtable.
Well, I had seen prototypes for the collector line about 6 months ago from a guy who worked at Mattel. He's not supposed to be showing me these, but he showed me on his phone. And they looked great because they were like, and he said what they were going for is they were going for like kind of like their Masterverse level of quality, but with the DC figures. And so when
you're looking at like $35 a piece, $40 a piece.
No, because they've kept they've managed to keep the Masterverse between 20 and 25, except for deluxe figures.
Oh, that's not bad. So that's comparable to McFarlane's, if not in some cases a little cheaper.
Yeah. So and without the McFarlane stupidity that I hate, which is when he does like, oh, this is a platinum figure, and so this one's 40, and you're like, I'm getting the same amount of figures and accessories. You just made it harder to find, so you're charging more. Can't stand that. So I'm hoping that Mattel doesn't go that route. I'm hoping they stick to like mass market and trying to get as many sales as possible. When I saw these, I was like, oh, these don't look as good as the prototypes I saw. And then they said this is the kids line, like the kid focused line. So I was like, okay, so maybe the ones I saw were was the higher end line. So these are fine for kids. I mean, they're very like kind of classically detailed. I think kids will enjoy them. I
hate that middle Batman up at the top.
I do too. I can't stand that.
I don't like all black Batman, and I don't like the outline bat symbol on the chest.
That Batgirl's costume from No Man's Land.
Yep.
That Batman.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
And I don't like that comic book.
I don't love the Jon Stewart. I like the Superman quite a bit.
Yeah, Superman looks great.
The Deathstroke I don't like. The Joker I don't like because if you look at the Joker, it looks like his suit jacket is molded to his body. I might be wrong about that, but I just the Flash.
The tail separate, yeah.
The Flash is kind of classic looking.
I mean, there's not much you can do to really muck up the Flash. It's a pretty simplistic design. That's the beauty of it, right? The beauty is in the simplicity.
The worst you can do is give him an ugly head sculpt.
True. Yeah.
So just looking at this picture, I would probably pick up the Superman and the Flash. Everybody else would be a case by case basis. But I am curious what the what's the upgraded line going to look like if this is the kids line.
That's what I want to see because I'm seeing decent sculpting. My only real complaint is just as a fan is I like how Superman's sculpted up here in the shoulder area. I hate how Batman's got like the cowl over the it should go further like the Superman one. It's not a money thing. They literally sculpted this way. They should have just made this way. Other than that,
yeah, it looks weird being kind of detached like that.
Yeah, like
and the other
I don't like how Batman's engineered wrong.
Mattel makes really cheap capes. Even on their Masterverse stuff, the fabric they use is really cheap. And one thing we were getting spoiled with McFarlane was he was doing like a lot of wired capes of really nice material.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that I'm hoping there's a balance because I think the other thing that we're going to lose with Mattel is we're probably going to lose the diversity of the McFarlane line because he was cranking stuff out. You want the Rocket Red Brigade? He's giving it to you. You want Fire and Ice? Those are Ice just came out. I just picked her up. The figure looks great. He's going to give it to you.
He gave me a freaking Jay Garrick. He gave me a Bart. He gave me a Max Mercury. Nobody freaking remembers who he is unless you grew up reading Flash comics, right? Pre-52. He even gave me freaking Walter West Dark Flash from like the end of Wade's run, right? It's like nobody else is going to do those.
Yeah, like
they're going to make the safe plays.
They're going to make the safe plays. People complain that McFarlane made too many Batmans, but obviously, like that's the bread and butter. But am I going to get how long is it going to take me to get a Connor Kent from Mattel? How long is it going to take me to get the one thing that McFarlane never did that I hope Mattel does? Although since the show is probably not coming back, I don't know if they're going to do it. But I would love to get those Young Justice designs. I want a Young Justice Cheshire. I want a Young Justice Simon. I have had a way better chance of getting that Simon from McFarlane than I ever did from Mattel. McFarlane did Kite Man.
Yeah, I got the McFarlane Superboy. I got the '90s Young Justice Superboy from him.
Yeah,
Like
that one's
the,
nice.
the fact that he made that made me so happy. I was like, you're making my childhood right now.
Yep.
My complaint with Todd really was the beginning of. I don't even dislike his toys as much as I act. It's like his Batman animated stuff looked really bad in the beginning, but then they started getting the DC Direct stuff. So like I got the Batmobile, I got the Batwing, I got the other Batmobile from the animated series. Like I've supported the stuff they put out, but I'm optimistic and interested to see where this goes because in the toy sphere, nobody talks about the wrestling figures. You have to be a wrestling channel or you have to be in like the geek culture toy stuff. But as somebody who likes more geek culture but loves wrestling, Mattel's WWE stuff is pretty good. Like I pick up stuff regularly. If they can just engineer that body type for superheroes, I wouldn't be complaining because there's a ton of articulation. The sculpt and the paint are great. And the soft goods on those toys don't suck, Aaron. Like
Yeah, no, they're
Rock with his
great.
little $500 shirt and his gold chain. I'm like, this is cool. You know, this is what I wanted as a kid. Not a big plastic hunk, but of unsculpted shit. But you know, there we go.
I know the guy that's in charge of that line at Mattel, and he cares. You know, he's a really good dude. So,
well, if you ever talk to him, tell him there's somebody out there that's got a 2 thumbs up for him. But they need to make a WrestleMania 2000 Rock because I've been waiting forever.
Make your way out to San Diego Comic-Con. I'll introduce you to him.
All right, cool. And I was going to tell him, hey man, make a 2000s Rock. We've all been waiting. You got the mold, you got the tooling. You literally just have to put one spray app, which you've already developed the stickers for other colors, and then we're good. I won't say all that shit because he won't know. But I do want to.
He'll know. He'll know. Like he talks about the most like insane minutia, and he'll tell you why they have or they haven't done it. Like he'll be like well, because he has to go and he has to justify every figure before like the board. So I feel like if he wants to give this guy this accessory, there needs to be a reason why and it needs to be worked into the budget for the tooling.
I feel like I could persuade him and the board with just the numbers. It's 0 tooling costs, 0 development. Just go into Photoshop and change blue and silver to gold. That's it. And you're done.
I feel like you could walk out with a job at Mattel.
I want a job at Mattel. Like,
do it.
I would be literally the best person to be like a toy liaison or like from any company because I get the economics, but I also get what the audience wants. And I like this shit. So you could just see me at cons with my colorful jackets on saying, all right, so you want us to make this? Tell me why. And then, universe.
And then we get Wokebusters figures.
That's right. Yeah. They've got some bodies already that they could use. All right, guys, I gotta jam out. Thank you to the chat. I will see you guys next. If we do a show next week, I will be here.
All right, man. I will let you know.
See you, Aaron.
Take care, Aaron.
So, folks, Aaron was here to hang out for a little bit, and now it's time to check in with you guys before we get into more topics and have a lot of fun tonight. We're going to keep this show nice and tight, so we're only going to be on for about an hour more. So if you want to help us reach our goals and see the snow speeder embarrassment, awesome. If not, just hang out with us and keep sharing and hitting that like button. We really appreciate it. And while I got your attention, check out our new videos. I put out a video on Star Trek. It did as well as my last Ollie's Toy video. I've never done a Star Trek video. So thanks, but I'm going to be continuing to diversify what we put out here on the channel because it's a lot of fun to talk about this stuff. So Enrique has been a member for 35 months. What's up, Enrique? I feel like I've talked to you recently. Hail, Jeff, Andrew, Aaron, and possibly Script. Breaking news. Emperor Palpatine died and yet somehow has returned. The attention button, please. Did you know that he died, Andrew?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I did. Thank you.
All right. So, Enrique, thank you very much. Here's the button that you requested right here.
You had enough yet?
No.
That's another one.
So?
You just say the word, I'll keep going.
Go.
Eeny, meeny, miny.
Mo.
Your mother was a...
Ho.
He was a famous clown.
Bobo.
Mitch, cut it out.
Yeah, Mitch. And one more.
Cry me a river, dick face.
I just like that.
I don't remember that one.
You got to rewatch this movie.
Great. Yeah.
It is.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
I met the lady from it, Serena Vincent. She's really nice. Like Areola, the naked girl, because she was in Power Rangers and horror movies and like other stuff.
Yep.
And she's so friendly. She's like, hey, what's up? And she'll just talk to you about shit. So, okay. Oh, also, folks, speaking of celebrities and cons, you don't want to miss the Lexington Comic and Toy Show. WCBS will be there. For the first time in 5 years, all 4 of us will be in the same room. So if you want to get your comic signed, this is literally the only chance you'll ever have. Also, too, I'm going to create a system. If you want to buy a book online and get it signed by all the guys, that'll count for Wokebusters, Stealing Solo, Phantom Menace Edition, anything that features the people in it. We can finally bring you a fully autographed one. So if you're interested in that, let me know. We'll make it available at the con and in person. And that's all I got to say about that. Besides, there's a shitload of great celebrities, going. So I'm gonna step away from the table to meet Cheech and Chong. They're gonna be at this show.
Oh, wow.
Like big names, wrestlers, actors,
That's cool.
comic creators. It's better than working horror shows. It's a lot of fun. Thank you, though, Enrique. Overkill161, what is up, my friend? He says, Corn Dog, the Gaming Edition, Sim Corn Dog, Duke Corn Dog 3D, Corn Dog Dead Redemption, and Corn Dog Divers 2. Button 79, please. Here you go. Here's button number 79 right here.
Okay, listen, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I got freaks 9 days out of the week. I can give them... I'll get 7 days in a week. Man, you ain't Big Pop. I'm the big bad booty daddy. It's nonstop. Now listen, English. Motherfucker, do you speak it?
Oh, man.
Thank you. Overkill161, though, I like the Corn Dog titles. Corn Dog Redemption. I'd play that video game.
Redemption.
I was a teenage corn dog.
Wow.
Leisure Suit Corn Dog.
Snow corn dogs.
That just sounds tasty and cold.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Corn Dogs. Yeah.
That has a different meaning.
I was gonna say, I feel like there's something else happening there.
If you want to go more adult, you just say where the corn dogs aren't. That's classic.
Wow.
Overkill161, thank you very much. Folks, if you're a member, we made you guys a little promise if we hit our super chat goal of giving you a mini doc of our trip to Florida, which included a new look at Universal's Epic Universe, the Space Center at Cape Canaveral, and a whole lot more. Nick and I will be getting together on Sunday to record the audio for that so we can give you guys what we promised. So be on the lookout for that. Sunday's the first time we can get together. It's crazy because Nick's trying to travel in the snow. I'm stuck here, which doesn't really change anything, but he's got stuff he's got to get to with his family. So that is when you guys are going to get that. We just wanted to give you a heads up. Xavier God, excellent point. There's a difference between a nerd, a geek, and a dork. Yeah, dork is always the worst one. Isn't that a whale penis?
Yes.
You know. Anyway, I don't know why I know that. No, yeah, there is a big difference. I use both. Like, I really don't care if people call me a nerd or a geek. I get that geek is less pejorative than nerd, but it just means you're smart and like better class of entertainment. So as long as it's, I don't give a shit. Like, that's how I feel. Enrique, thank you very much. He says pretty much the Disney Star Wars fans.
Oh yeah, for the ones that will absorb anything of it. Yeah.
Where are they at though, man?
They're a very tiny number, probably around clocking in at like 1 million people.
The small vocal minority that hated The Last Jedi, right? They're smaller than them.
Yeah.
Shrubbles08 says, I'll take a Joe Rogan Battleships and a Beetlejuice and slap. Oh, Beetlejuice Slapnuts, no problem. Let's see. Let me get those pulled up. You guys ever watch Rogan? I don't. Like,
every once in a while, it depends on who he's interviewing.
Like, I'll listen to clips, but I can't do full episodes. It's like 5 hours.
I've only listened to a couple of full episodes of Rogan. The most recent ones I listened to there was the one where he was talking to the dudes that were like revitalizing dire wolves or something like that. And then before that, it was the one that he had with Jeremy Renner. That was a really interesting one.
Yeah, where they tried to underpay him from Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, he talked about that, and he talked about like his recovery after the snowmobile accident and all of that. The snow plow,
because he was outside doing
it. It was kind of it was like a slow snow bobcat, those types of things.
Somebody hit him, right? He was just standing there, or did he fall off of it?
Nobody hit him. He somehow
he was helping somebody, and then it kind of just something happened with the engine. It just rolled over his leg.
Yeah.
And it crushed it pretty bad. But he got full recovery.
Because I thought he was doing something to help somebody. That's what the story that I thought I knew was like. He wasn't like fucking around. He was like doing something good, and then something happened to him. Well, he had my respect anyway. So shout out to Hawkeye. You actually made me like the character. who I
Yeah,
normally
same.
gave
I never gave a crap about Hawkeye prior to that.
Hey, I like him enough to buy the comic book version of him because I'm like, yeah, in the movie, he's pretty cool. All right, so you wanted these buttons right here.
So have you ever done DMT?
Probably.
I personally haven't. I'm not that kind of party animal, but I believe Joe Rogan has imbibed any substance on the planet. Moose
Probably.
Knight, everything.
Well, he was friends with Andy Dick, so you know.
Dude, I watched a downfall of Andy Dick video the other day. It was eye-opening. Holy shit. I didn't realize how messed up that guy's life was.
He brought it upon himself, sadly.
Yeah, hey, you're 100% right. I'm not going to make excuses for the guy, but I'm just like, oh. Because I just forgot he existed for a while. Because he was in stuff, then he wasn't in stuff. And I didn't care because he's like Kathy Griffin. He's just there.
Man.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And it's similar to how I feel about the Jimmys, the late night Jimmys. You got
There's too
the
many
little
of them.
Jimmys. Yeah, Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel? I can't tell the difference between the two of them. If at least one of them was funny, I would be able to.
Okay, so Jimmy Fallon is the 21st century version of, oh God, what's his name from the Carol Burnett show, who is also in Blazing Saddles. He laughed in every sketch because Tim Conway was funnier than him.
Is Harvey Korman?
Harvey Korman, thank you. He is the 21st century version of Harvey Korman, which is also an insult to both him and Harvey Korman.
Wow.
Yeah.
A 2-for-1. 2-for-1 sale, pal.
Try and find a Harvey Korman sketch with him and Tim Conway where he doesn't break character like Jimmy Fallon did in everything on SNL. And SNL was nowhere near as well written as Carol Burnett.
Well, you don't like the Nomar Garcia Parra joke where he couldn't get through the Boston accent with Rachel Drash and just killed the joke?
Yeah.
Come on now, man.
Mm-hmm.
I look. Shout out to Robot Shlomo in the chat. He knew Harvey Korman right away. I just think of the guy from the Star Wars Holiday Special. Not a winner of a show. Here is your other button you requested.
Did you see that guy accidentally hit that moose with his car?
No.
Holy shit. Jamie, pull that video up.
It's Mr. Flatnut to you.
I love that shit. Now, our next one is a little bit of a request. I think I'm gonna do it just a little more for you because we are world class here on the channel and we like to have a good laugh. So let's all laugh together at the absurdity that is this.
And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying to get it out what's in my head.
You guys remember this video?
Oh yeah. There was a YouTube channel, I think it was called Society of Virtue, that did He-Man parodies. And they were also making fun of the Social Justice Warrior movement.
When I was in college, when Dion and I shared an apartment, we got drunk one night, and to prank everybody, I turned the 10-hour loop of this on and went to bed. But joke's on me.
You're
I was
evil.
the person who was woken up by it. So I was fucked over by my own joke.
Man, that's evil.
Yeah, but it was with the best intention. Humor.
Was it?
I love my friends.
I feel like I'd go postal if I got woken up by that song.
Dude, we had all drank a lot back then. That was in our heyday of, hey, let's get a bottle of Everclear. Like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
When I was in college, it was the Numa Numa song that was used to prank and wake people up. Yeah.
My freshman year was when the Rickroll, freshman year of college is when the Rickroll really took off. And people would try to Rickroll me, but I'd be like, I just like this song. So I just sit there and listen to the whole thing.
I unironically love the song.
Yeah. Never Gonna Give. When I was driving somewhere recently, Michigan, that came on. I started singing it in the car. I was like, yeah, I love this fucking song.
I love that song. Take on Me, that kind of music's awesome.
80s, man, is a great decade for everything. Great TV shows, great comics, great movies, music.
But also some of the worst without the identity politics. That's what makes the 80s so fascinating. It's like, I mean, just look at Golden Globus films, man. Some of them are schlocky and terrible, but there's a heart and fun to them. Andy Sedaris films
I was
also.
to bring him up. We watched a bunch of those in Florida last week.
Oh yeah, like they're terrible films, but like they're sexy and they're silly, and you can't believe someone spent money on this and it worked. And
Tell me, you didn't pay money for this.
yeah, Jose Canseco bat.
I saw
freaking
it
love
once.
that movie.
There's a meme of a girl wearing that T-shirt, and I chuckled at it. I was like, oh, I wish I would run into you in public. Our friend Layden Swallow said, hey, I said, hey, what's going on? I unironically listen to that song at least twice a month. Remind me to tell you about the funny Star Wars about it later, or the funny Star about it later. Sure, we're here, man. You just tell us what you want to tell us about this. I have good memories of this specific version. The real non-blondes one, I turn it off. That's that specific one. It just, I don't know, never really spoke to me. But He-Man, chef's kiss. Yes, folks, hit that like button like Crouching Taylor, Hidden Swift. Greatly appreciate it. So a minute ago, we talked about a rumor, something, speculation, some problem in the Star Wars universe, but because it's always funny to make fun of the formerly greatest franchise ever, which is now in the toilet. So right here, we have from Twitter about 2 hours ago, rumor Filoni's Mandoverse crossover may shift to Disney Plus series if Mando flops. Entertainment insider Daniel Rickman claims the change depends entirely on the performance of the film, with full details behind his Patreon paywall. Convenient. The Mandalorian and Grogu ties together with the show, like The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and Skeleton Crew in Filoni's projects announced in 2023, and they set for their theatrical payoff, featuring battles against Thrawn and blah blah blah. This comes after Kathleen Kennedy stepped down, with Filoni taking over as Lucasfilm president. This sounds like, hey, it might snow tomorrow. It could rain. Like, we could get hit by an asteroid. I have it on good authority that it missed us by, 3 parsecs.
That's a big difference.
Thank you. No, but the thing is, it's like, I don't want to dump on this guy because I don't know him personally or what his track record is, but that's the most vague thing. But let's play into that. Let's say this movie shits the bed. Like I don't mean like Solo money where it made like $393 million. I'm talking like sub $200 million globally. Like, holy shit. Like, we can't stop talking about it bad. What happens next after that? Humor me.
Star Wars becomes a Disney Plus brand.
Yeah, I think because they're already clearly scared, right? Like, this is going to be the Mandalorian Grogu movie is going to be the first theatrical release for Star Wars. It isn't like an anniversary, like re-release of the old ones, right?
Right.
It'll be the first new one
in 7 years.
Since Rise of Skywalker, right?
That's right. Like, for the majority of the worldwide audience, Star Wars has been dormant and has taken that 5-year break. A lot of pontificators have said Star Wars needs to take. And for the majority of the world, they're like, yeah, that's it. Because all they know Star Wars as is feature films. They don't care about the Disney Plus stuff. They're not interested in the TV shows. I mean, I know some pretty deep Star Wars fans who didn't realize that they made a final season of Clone Wars until like a couple of years after they debut, just because it's
there was such a huge gap in between.
Yeah, it's like it's not circulating the zeitgeist as much, and none of the Disney Plus shows of Star Wars ever trend or break through the big barrier of becoming a popular must see TV event.
Yeah, unless you're already like glued in to the culture and like in this type of a sphere, regardless of what side of the, I guess, culture war aisle you're on, most normal people probably don't hear about all this stuff, so they don't care. And like you said, they just see Star Wars as a theatrical brand. So as far as they're concerned, Star Wars hasn't been around since, was it 2019? And so because Disney's already scared, right? And Lucasfilm has already been pretty skittish, I think, to put something in theaters and risk that. If Mandalorian and Grogu genuinely fails, not like maybe it breaks even or something like that, if it fails, I think we don't see another Star Wars film in theaters for a very long time.
Probably at least another 5 years. The thing that's actually going forward on the positive is that it's a Jon Favreau-led production. The question I'm asking myself is, and I've been snooping around, is, well, how much did Dave Filoni get his fingers into that? Because Mandalorian was essentially Favreau's for the first, couple episodes before Dave Filoni took it over, hijacked it essentially. And I was not even a fan of the very first episode. They wasted 6 minutes on him training to ride a blurg or whatever the hell that was. Like, you've got all this money in the world, you have a limited time frame, and you're going to waste it on a montage of something that is going to be completely discarded once you get to your location. No, stupid. Where's your editor at? But yeah, like that. Jon Favreau knows how to make a good movie, especially when he's got not much pushback, or when he's given the latitude needed to express the creative side of him. I mean, one of the greatest tragedies of his career is Iron Man 2, because it's a really solid film, but it's not the film he wanted to make. And you could see in the final cut the tug of war of what he was trying to do versus what was Disney saying he had to do, because they were becoming the new owners of the franchise, well, by way of the distribution contract, and they're a family film. They can't mock or explore alcoholism, because all the children that are going to watch these movies might end up becoming alcoholics themselves, even though the entire story is to warn you against alcoholism.
Yeah. And it's not like they didn't have friggin' drunk Tony in the film anyway, right? He's drunk off his ass.
Being drunk is fine. Party. Being drunk is fine. It's the fact that depicting addiction is a no-no on anything Disney related. Even if you're overcoming it. Yeah.
It sends a weird message, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that the question I asked you didn't seem too crazy, though. Like, what if it does just absolutely crap the bed? Like, I'll be honest. I showed the stuff I bought within the last couple of months, and maybe once a week I'll walk by the Star Wars poster in the TV room and I'll go, I can't wait for that re-release next year. And then I just kind of do it literally anything else. But like, I do think about that regularly, and I go, I can't wait. I'm going to be the first person there that morning. I don't give a shit about anything that day. And I was thinking, I wish I could have that kind of like guaranteed, I know I want this thing, I will do what I have to do to watch it, with this new shit. It's anything new. I don't want to become the guy that's like, I'm only going to go see the things I know I like in theaters. I like to take the gambles. But, you know, after 6 years of crap, I kind of just don't care. And
well, go ahead. I was just going to say, like, I want Mandalorian and Grogu to be a fun film. I don't need it to be an amazing film, but I do need it to be fun and me not feel like I wasted whatever the runtime is. Let's just say 2 hours of my life on the thing. Because I like Mando and I like the first 2 seasons for the most part. But man, like, faith in Lucasfilm right now is kind of at an all-time low. So at this point, like, for the last couple of years, the only thing that I've been genuinely looking forward to when it comes to Star Wars content, in terms of like actively looking forward to it, not having to be reminded that it's a thing that exists still, are the Jedi games with Cal Kestis. So Jedi Fallen Order, I absolutely adore that game. Jedi Survivor, love that game. I know that Respawn's working on the 3rd one right now, which is supposed to wrap up the trilogy. Hopefully that gets announced sometime this year and comes out either late this year or early next year. But like, that's it. Other than that, like, I'm still a Star Wars fan. Like, I still listen to my audiobooks. I'll still play my older games, but I don't, you know, they don't have anything else that's new that I will spend energy and time on, like, thinking about.
Like was it Maul Shadow Lord? That trailer dropped last week. It looks fine.
I still haven't seen the trailer. I completely forgot about that. And that was one that I think Maul's a cool character, and I do want to see that, but I forgot that it was even a thing. And I mainly want to see it because Sam Witwer is voicing him, and Sam Witwer is a massive Star Wars fan. And I know that he'll at least put in a good performance. And so I at least don't have to worry about that. Right.
Right. You just have to worry about the fact that it's still a Dave Filoni show. And also that, sadly, since Dave Filoni's integration into Star Wars has become far more cartoon than it has fun films. Because there's more 3D cartoon content of Star Wars than there is live action now.
And Filoni and modern Star Wars have this problem. Actually, all of modern entertainment does. We're going to give you a show, title character, boom, Darth Maul. Here's his show. But we're going to make it about the pink Twi'lek. I know it's just a guess, but based on the trailer, and if I'm wrong, if there's official information, not some speculation bullshit, if there's real information, I'll follow that 100%. But based on the trailer, my nose tells me that she is the main character and that Darth Maul is literally a shadow throughout this show. And we will see those scenes, but she will be the focus. It's not a show about like, okay, if I was making a show on Darth Vader, it would literally be Darth Vader gets out of that thing, they put his armor on him, and then the show would start and it would show him like get into his ship and like do shit with the character. I know I'm being pedantic about daily tasks, but my point is, if it's called Darth Maul Shadow Lord, it better be about Darth Maul. It better not be some.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He's in the shadows.
It could still be about Darth Maul through the narrative of this Pink Twilight character, because again, when you take a look at some classic stories like, say, Helen of Troy, it's not really about Helen of Troy. I mean, she's the object of what they're going after, but it's not really about her. It's about the battle between, the people of Troy and.
That is a classic piece of literature, and I agree with you 100%. This is Disney Star Wars. I don't trust
it. Is Disney Star Wars with Dave Filoni. He is not very astute at being able to do that. I only say that because there's lots of movies where the title of the film is of another character that's not actually the main character of the story.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
That's basically, and that's a gimmick done because it's always the title usually is either the goal or the object of affection, and in some cases it will be like the main character. Your classics of your Batman, your Superman, your Spider-Man, etc. But sometimes there's just a really interesting title that is not of the main character, but of either the main antagonist or the object that people are after. The Maltese Falcon is a great one. You don't see that throughout most of the movie, and you don't even really get a sense of what it is until towards the end. But it's a classic because it follows the principles of taking ideas and pushing them to their furthest limit to be a story well told. And every good writer is trying to do that, and every bad writer is also trying to do that, but they just don't have the faculties or ask the right questions in order to achieve that.
Yeah, this statement here is incorrect. The Legend of Zelda is about Zelda. Link is a non-personality character. He is the vehicle for the player.
That's what the video game part. So that's you're substituted in for the main character going after to rescue Zelda.
But the reason I actually put it on screen though is because I believe with the modern lens, or however you want to phrase it, like the Zelda movie will make it's all. I hate to say it, she's not a damsel in distress, but she's not the focal point. You are Link. It's your journey.
Link is the hero.
Yes.
Yeah. This, I'll bet you Duke's Brothers bet the movie's literally going to be more her because Link is a silent character. I get it, all that shit, but it'll be more her. And I think with it's like the Mandalorian rug pull. I'm watching Mandalorian. No, I'm actually watching a Bo-Katan episode, which is fine. But maybe I'm watching that random lesbian lady on Coruscant. And then the Mandalorian's in the last 2 minutes. That's what I'm actually concerned about. Book of Boba Fett sucked dick. But it did venture off the random ass shit, and it wasn't really about Boba Fett after a certain point.
Yeah.
That's kind of like I just don't trust this Darth Maul Shadow Lord. If I'm wrong, and
that's a fair concern to have. That's a fair concern to have.
The track record at Disney is very self-evident. I will say this: I do hope that in the Legend of Zelda film, they find a really clever, non-snarky, non-insulting way to say "Excuse me, princess."
Yes, I want that. But I would like if at the very end of the credits, the actor just goes, "Excuse me, princess," and then they just go cut, and then played as a laugh.
I would much rather that be something, and I have heard you guys are in the majority there, I think, because most people I've spoken with about this share that same opinion. I don't want that anywhere near it. Unless it's in an outtake. You put it in an outtake, I will laugh. But I don't want it in there because I'll just roll my eyes and remember that garbage, god-awful cartoon.
Oh, that was a fun cartoon. Come on.
I watched the daily.
Terrible.
Hey, I'm a fan of Captain N, the Game Master. If they brought that back or made a series of action figures, I'm buying them all, but they won't. Oh, any interested? We're going to talk about something else in a second. Let me check in with the audience because Wonder Man dropped, and I know that a lot of geek culture stuff isn't cool for Marvel, but I'm morbidly curious because they dropped all 8 episodes. So I think tomorrow, folks, what I'm going to do is
did they drop all episodes at once?
Yeah.
I think that's what they did.
Wow.
It's weird because for the last almost 2 years, I've been hearing not just from a person who I know that's worked on the production, but also people around the area that Wonder Man is different but really good. I want to see exactly what they meant by that. That's the curiosity that I have, because all they're just telling me is like, no, it's really good. I'm like, is it Marvel? Is it doing Marvel, or is it classic Marvel, or is it, what is it? And they're like, you just got to see it for yourself. And so, I mean, I'm morbidly curious. They also dropped the Daredevil season 2, Born Again season 2 trailer as well.
I did hear about that, but I haven't watched the trailer yet. I haven't watched. I've only seen, I think, the first episode of the show, and it was on Netflix in season 1. I still haven't seen the thing.
Wait, you didn't finish the show on Netflix completely?
No, I only saw like the first 1 or 2 episodes, and they were good.
Did you get to the hallway fight?
No, I don't think so.
You wouldn't have had to think about it. You definitely didn't, because the beginning of that show, Daredevil wears his black John Romita Jr. era outfit. Yeah. And he has to fight his way down a hallway in this like continuous shot. It is the coolest shit. Like, that show was probably like me and my phenomenal. Marvel was the awesome era. But there's one problem. It's
good for character, but its plot, you're watching Wilson Fisk self-destruct without anything that Matt Murdock is doing really actually being the cause of it. Like, the two stories are very divorced, but they're talking about how they're connected. And I did a huge breakdown of this in a writer's room after the season debuted, about like how it gets character right, how it gets really personal stakes and dynamics right. But when it comes to like the plot, you could take Matt Murdock out of this, and Wilson Fisk's making all the decisions he did would still lead to him getting arrested at the end of the series.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which is not a good thing to happen, because you want a more related cause and effect between your protagonist and antagonist for a resolution.
Now, was it in season 3 where he screams, "I beat you"? Because like,
yeah, I think so.
I think I yelled at my TV. I was like, "Yeah!" He beat the shit out of him and screams at him, "I beat you." I was like, "Wow, you actually did it. That was cool."
Yeah, I think it was season 3, because that also was the introduction to Bullseye, and
because Punisher was season 2, right?
Punisher was season 2. Punisher, season 2 had some of the best cliffhangers for that first half of that season. Like, they knew how to do it, where he's like, you have to watch the next episode.
Oh, I did. Back in the day when those would drop, that was my time. Like, I don't think they were weekly. I think it was all dropped at once back then.
Oh yeah, Netflix only did the full binge. Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, I got a day off school or whatever the hell I'm doing. Let's watch this. And I don't regret it at all.
No, I mean, I enjoyed the show for what it is, because again, Charlie Cox knocks out of the park. The guy from Mighty Ducks who plays Foggy Nelson, great to see him doing that. They have good chemistry, and there's really cool dynamics in the way that it kind of tethered into what was going on in the main MCU without it being like directly on the nose was quite well done. Some of the liberties they took worked for what they were, but also kind of rob us of being able to see those characters kind of return as their supervillain form. Like that's the other part too that I guess kind of backfired a bit with the Netflix show, and to a degree seems to be seeping in with the revival, is they're not leaning into the cooler aspects of what made Daredevil really great when it came to their characters. Like, you will never get to see a stilt man, even though we get to see the stilt man stilts in the background of one shot. It's like, no, they're playing it way too serious for us to actually be able to see that this would function in this type of world. And that's this big detriment that's occurred ever since the 1980s. Like, it's the worst byproduct of the 80s is things have to be far more serious, and they cannot be earnest. They cannot have that verisimilitude to it.
The weird part about that show, because I'm actually going to go to that point, is it's weird that that's the problem, but the first season acknowledges the Battle of New York. Mm-hmm. And like, I know that they changed the continuity, but when that show came out, it was in continuity with the Avengers, because it literally has a picture on Ben Urich's wall of the giant space worm crashing into whatever that building is, Grand Central Station.
Yeah,
it's like in that show, and it's so weird that they went that weird extreme angle when they acknowledge that the world is a little crazier than you'd let on. So I agree with your point, is what you're making, or I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a Netflix thing too, is like Netflix made the deal with Marvel, but at the same time, there are certain restrictions, just like with the ABC show of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which, man, I wish we didn't have S.H.I.E.L.D. collapse in the MCU as quickly as we did. It would have been far more fun to see another volley of films where we really got to see S.H.I.E.L.D. at its peak, proper function, proper stories before you pull it out. It's the same mistake that Matthew Vaughn and Mark Miller did with the Kingsman series when they made the Golden Circle and just destroyed the Kingsman and went to the United States for alcohol.
I never was there a. It wasn't the third one. It was a prequel, right?
The prequel, yeah.
Okay, I gave up on. I liked the second one just fine, but
I only saw the first one.
dude, you should watch it. I think you would enjoy the second one. It's got this Elton John joke, which is one of the best jokes I've ever heard in a fucking film.
The Wednesday one.
No, the backstage pass.
Oh yeah.
That shit. I still think about that to this day, and I laugh. I was like, oh my god, and it ties into the first movie so well. That's your reward for saving the world. No, I digress. No, Scripture point about Shield is great. I agree, and I would have liked had they done it where, because Winter Soldier's awesome. I don't dislike that movie at all. I just wish that you would have had. It would have come out in like 2016 when Civil War came out. That way we could have had more movies with Shield, because the Shield falling apart was great, and being infiltrated by Hydra and all that stuff is a great story. But I just wanted one more story. Like, I would have liked to have seen another Avengers movie where they face another threat. That way it's like maybe Ultron could have been a piece that, like, I don't know, maybe Ultron found something that makes people question it, and then it leads into that and it goes crazy. Like,
or you have the resurgence of Hydra, and you have the climax be something really suspicious with how Shield defeats Hydra in a way that feels maybe too easy or too fabricated, and that's kind of becomes your setup for your Winter Soldier with that payoff of what they were doing. Where, you know, it's a great little decoy that has been done in stories before, where it's two factions pose as enemies in order to cause chaos throughout the rest of the world or the place that they're operating in. Like, they're actually allies, but they pretend to fight each other to distract people from what they're actually doing. And that would have been a really great type of thing to do with Shield, because I wanted to see, you know, actual Shield operations with Maria Hill and some of the other agents, and Nick Fury kind of being front and center with whatever is going on. Maybe they went against Reaper or Lady Hydra, or do a proper Zemo as opposed to what we got in Civil War. And
the dancing one from the damn Winter Soldier or the Falcon show later on.
Yeah. Just get something more. I mean, the thing that makes comic books and their adaptations fun is just the level of grandeur that they incorporate with the schemes, with the characters, the drama. It's borderline to the point where it could almost be laughable, but it's just at that right on the tightrope, where it's perfectly balanced. And you're like, yep, that I can totally buy into it and working in this type of universe. You've sold me on the concept, on the idea. And yeah, I can totally believe that when Baron von Zemo is tossed off a building and his body vanishes, he somehow managed to survive, and he'll be back to wreak havoc another day.
And dance.
Sorry,
I just can't get over that. Everything became a big joke. I know Wonder Man's going to be humorous, but
well, I mean, it's got Ben Kingsley in it. Ben Kingsley, great actor, but again, similar to some other celebrities you talked about, never really been in a huge hit movie that hasn't been some sort of like Gandhi maybe would probably be the biggest one, but that's a very political movie. But he was in Species. He was in The Love Guru. He's been in a lot of stuff that makes you question, what were you thinking wanting to do this film? And then you realize, he gets to have a lot more fun as an actor in these types of films than he does trying to be in a serious role. So
I would do the same thing if I had. Yeah. If I was like established, like a Glenn Powell or somebody, and I was like, okay, I got enough money to make me last the rest of my life, I'm doing fun shit. I'd probably I'd get a way to finance something fun too, so I could make something insanely crazy, like a Tropic Thunder style movie, but not rip off Tropic Thunder. I want something that's funny, that's going to make people shocked and offended in the modern day. That's what I want.
That would be Anaconda remake.
I wish that was better.
Me too. I mean, it had the potential to be. The script was pretty funny, and some of the in-jokes that they pulled off okay, but I think wrong cast for that.
And that ending was so dumb when they figured out that somebody else is doing the same thing. I was like, is this supposed to be their Wally World moment where the park's closed? Because it doesn't land the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I don't think I'll ever watch that one again.
No, it's a one-off. I mean, they were trying to be the next Tropic Thunder. They just did not have the same juice.
No. And I thought the critics were being
Maybe I'll give it a
harsh.
look.
If that's the movie you're going to watch before you watch classics, I wouldn't. Like, please don't. Man. I love you. But, like, you
Sometimes I
haven't
like
seen-
falling asleep to dumb movies.
This won't put you to sleep. You'll laugh at parts. You'll
Oh, yeah.
actually stay invested in the movie. It doesn't, like, fall flat completely. It's just like, you watch it, you're like, oh, this almost was good. And you're just kind of disappointed. Like, you won't be able to sleep. You'll stay up at night and go, man, what the fuck happened to Paul Rudd? And then you'll toss and you turn all night, and then you realize Ant-Man happened, and then you'll just fall asleep because you don't care anymore. But don't watch it before bed. Just don't watch it. Read a review online. Say you watched it. Lie. Tell people, oh, I love Anaconda, the John Voight movie. There you go. See? Saving you 2 hours of your life and $20, my friend. By the way, Script, I looked up what you had mentioned about the trailer. So we got Jessica Jones and Matthew Lillard's name. His character's name is Mr. Charles. So, and he's related to Wilson Fisk in some way. Not related, like, you know. Here's the thing. In the comic book, the Kingpin has a son who was eventually the Rose in the Spider-Man comics.
Right.
And because the Kingpin's family has a pretty prominent role in the comics. I think even the Schemer was one of his kids, right?
Oh man, that takes me back because, okay, I think you might be right there, but I haven't. I remember the Schemer. I vividly remember the Rose because you had that purple mask with the goggles.
Here we go. Richard Fisk is the son of Marvel's Kingpin. So yeah, Richard Fisk is the Schemer.
Yeah.
John
So
Romita
is he
Jr.,
going to
so
be
that's why I
the son,
remember.
or are they going to make him like a nephew or an adopted son or something? Because, oh wait, or are they going with the fact that Vanessa was not the first woman he'd been with? Because it felt like that's how they were playing it in the Daredevil series.
You know, they might. They changed stuff up. I tried to look up who the Rose is, but apparently it gave me Rose Tyler first. Sorry.
You gotta go Marvel Comics, the Rose.
I did. I typed in Marvel the Rose, but okay, it is Richard Fisk. It's just the same guy over and over. Okay, he just keeps dressing up to beat up his dad or kill his dad.
Dick Fisk, as we like to call him.
Dick Fisk. That's how we refer to all these characters now. There's no Schemer, there's no the Rose. It's just Dick Fisk. There you go, folks. Get your Dick Fisk t-shirts at shopwcbs.com in the morning. Hashtag I stand with Dick Fisk. I would never wear that shit.
Man, that is a choice.
And a world-class one at that, Andrew.
Dick Fisk, effing over his dad
it is.
every chance he can get.
I don't know if that is. I don't know if that's what that is.
I mean, you could say the thing about a channel called World Class Bullshitters, but it worked out. So, you know, crazy.
That's fair. That is, I guess fair enough.
I am the second person, according to my lawyer, to have an offensive "quote unquote" LLC name. So, you know, after they changed there was a legal case. There was an Asian band. I'm not going to say it on air because
I know which one you're talking about.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
really? Type it in the chat. Type it in the chat.
They had to fight for this name because it's a slur, and they wanted to use this name, and they fought and they won, and that changed legal precedent. So my lawyer goes, "Oh yeah, you can now use WCBS or World Class BS as a business name if you want to." So, according to him, I'm the second person to have a novel.
That's amazing. Thank you, Japanese band, for setting that precedent.
Yeah, they should have covered turning Japanese. Then it would have been the whole trifecta of like oddly offensive stereotypes in one.
That's amazing.
No, I'll be honest, man. I'm just happy in general, and I'm like, all right, Wonder Man, because I like this actor. So
Yeah.
I watched the Rundown, not the Rundown. I saw the movie; it wasn't good. The Get
The
Down.
rundown.
Get
The
Down,
Rock.
yeah.
The Get Down on Netflix. I don't like Baz Luhrmann, and I don't really like a lot of musical stuff, but they did this interesting Netflix series about the origins of hip hop, and he was the bad guy. He was like a club owner who was dealing cocaine, and he was kind of the problem for the main characters. The show ended up getting canceled because it was too expensive, but he was a good part of it, much better than he was as Black Manta, and I don't even think he sucked as Black Manta. Just was fine.
Black Manta wasn't much of a character in those movies.
He's
He
a
was just
helmet.
kind of there.
They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything with him. I mean, that's old Warner Brother regime right now. I'm more excited with what's happening in the future with some of the cool things I've been hearing. So Yeah. I'm glad that he's segued over to something else, and I hope he gets a little bit more recognition and attention. Because he's a good talent, and we don't have enough people that can be recognized for who they are as opposed to just the characters that they play.
Yeah, I agree. And this guy has a coolness to him that other actors do have, but I think I personally just want to see more people with a little bit of a cool factor, because you're like, oh, okay, I'll watch that guy, or I'll watch that chick because she's cool or hot. Like, one of the two, it doesn't matter. Allison Brie, I'll watch something she's in. Like,
I watched Glow because of her, and I thought it was kind of funny.
I loved that show because, one, I like wrestling, but two, before I was born, my parents watched Glow. Like, that was a thing. And like,
the real Glow, I've seen it. Yeah.
And so I don't know a ton of stories because my dad passed away and stuff, but my mom always said, oh yeah, on Saturday nights we would watch wrestling and then we would watch Glow. And then she would like remember all these ladies' names. And when I watched that show, I made her watch it with me, and she's like, yeah, just like I remember. And I like the show for those reasons. But another Netflix show that got canceled that I really want to see the finale for. I was kind of invested in all of the characters. All of them.
Yeah.
They even brought real wrestlers in, which I liked too. So
they did. Yeah, they brought that show, Santa Clarita Diet. That I wish didn't get canceled. That was surprisingly good. That one has Skyler. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting his last name, but he played Jimmy Olsen in Superman.
Oh, he's that weird looking kid.
He's the weird looking kid. But if you watch
the
that
weird looking
show,
kid that somehow got all the ladies.
Dude, that's a great joke that they're playing off of with the Jimmy Olsen comics, because he is a loser in the Jimmy Olsen comics, and Superman is a big dick to him, and they're turning it. This was a clever way to kind of pull it off differently. I'm looking to see how they pay it off later on, but if you ever watch Santa Clarita Diet, the Skyler, his character is in love with the daughter of Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant. And she's not really interested in him, but she likes him as just a friend. But they are so in sync that whenever they get caught, they have this level of improvisation that just feels like you can tell it's improv, but it also feels so natural, like that you just want to keep seeing them try to get in over their heads and talk their way out of it. And it's really funny and clever. And you don't see like writing and character dynamics like that in television.
I need to go back and watch I watched a couple episodes. Was too
it takes a couple of episodes because Timothy Olyphant never plays this type of character, so it's really like throws you for a loop. And then once you see how he pulls it off, you're like, oh, you're in. And then of course they got Nathan Fillion in it as like a sleazy fun guy. They have this lesbian cop that is the antagonist. Like, you're not supposed to like her.
I didn't. I'm joking. No, I like Nathan Fillion in pretty much everything he's in. I even watched The Rookie, even though I really don't know why I watch it. It's just something to watch. But it's got all that like modern year shit that people complain about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I roll my eyes at least once a week, and I go,
it's in the 8th season, and they still call him The Rookie. It's like,
yeah,
I don't think you're a rookie after 8 years.
No, he trains rookies. Every season they get a new kid. Last season the kid got his leg blown off. So
oh damn.
Yeah, they did. Well, the funny thing is when they pitched it, it was going to be a limited series of just 2 seasons. And oddly enough, it just exploded. And they're like, okay, we got to keep this going. What do we do?
I think it's interesting, though. They took that show to San Diego Comic-Con and tried to make a moment out of it, and it just fell flat. There's a video. They played the Daddy Cop song, and like Nathan Fillion's trying to get the crowd into it, and they're just like, nope, don't care. I laughed because I love that song, but arrest me, but make it sexy. By the way, I did not know that Jimmy Olsen was in My Name is Earl. Shout out to Versago 1 or Versago 1. My Name is Earl is one of my favorite shows of all time. So anybody that talks about it gets a thumbs up from me.
Yeah, that's another show that shouldn't have been canceled either.
Agreed. And it had a good message behind it too. I know that's hokey, but it was a show that was funny and had a lot of stuff going on in it. But the whole message is, I want to do the right stuff.
I want to do the right thing. I want to make amends. The other part, Ethan Suplee was hysterical in that.
Yeah.
And, oh gosh, I keep forgetting. I'm getting old, man. Like, I'm getting so old. My eyebrows are starting to like point in different directions. But it's the blonde who plays
Jamie
Earl's
Presley?
ex-wife. Yeah, Jamie Presley. When I saw her kind of like stretch out her acting talent in there. I'm like, oh man, if Warner Brothers had their crap together, she would be the perfect Harley Quinn.
Yep. And then it's funny though, because they hired Margot Robbie, who's her doppelganger, and she wasn't the same Harley Quinn.
No.
I mean, look, she's the only one that's ever been on live action, so that bar is like non-existent, but she doesn't suck. Just what she's in sucks.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Andrew, you should watch My Name is Earl instead of watching whatever Anaconda. Seriously. You'll like this show. It's really good. It's about a guy who's a piece of shit thief. He wins a lotto ticket for $100,000. He gets hit by a car and the lotto ticket flies away. And so when he's in the hospital healing up, he decides that I'm going to make right with my life. So he makes a list of everything he's ever done wrong. And as soon as he commits to that list, the lotto ticket flies in the window and lands in his hospital bed. And he now has $100,000 and a mission to just do right by everybody. So like one time he stole a guy's wallet at a gas station and the guy couldn't go on his vacation for his honeymoon and all this shit. So like Earl sends him on a honeymoon. Or, you know, one time Earl he like made fun of the kid in school with the bearded girl. And then it turns out she's like a bearded lady in the festival. I think Judy Greer's in it at the carnival. But it turns out like at first he thinks they're all freaks and then he learns how cool they are and they're all like friends at the end. They have like a barbecue. Like it's not a preachy saccharine show where you're just like, oh, like at the end of a fucking Brady Bunch. It has teeth, but you're just at the end of it, you're like, oh, I dig this. So I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, he gets inspired to do this because of Carson Daly.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I kid you not. That is why he does. I mean, it is such a good show. And yeah, I wish it got a proper wrap up because we didn't know exactly how long the list was, which meant it could go on in perpetuity. But you would eventually get to that point where it's like it's the last thing on the list, and that last thing I wish we got to see what it was and how awesomely big it was for him to be able to, you know, right that wrong.
Did you? Okay, I watched a YouTube video on this. Did you know at one time My Name is Earl was actually bringing in more viewers than The Office?
Yes.
Like it wasn't like a failure of a show. It just didn't get renewed. And I'm like, oh, well, I was pissed off.
Something was going on. I don't know what was going on with the network, but for whatever reason, they just did not want to keep doing it. And
I think it was something to do because didn't Fox produce the show for NBC?
I think so.
I think it was something to do with Fox. This would have been years before any kind of merger with Disney or anything. This is 15 years ago, roughly. But
a little bit more than that.
I'm not trying to make myself feel that old, dude. Okay.
I know.
No, but look, it happens with great shows all the time. But it's nice to find somebody else that really likes that show. It was like one of the first shows that I like dove into and bought everything I could, shirt, bobblehead, anything. I think with Earl on it, I was picking up. So I'm gonna go back and watch that show for a fourth time. So yeah, Andrew, that's your recommendation. There you go.
My Name is Earl. Got it.
You're just trying to be a better person. Enrique Vasquez, thank you very much for your super chat. He says, Script, have you heard anything about the Malcolm in the Middle reboot, good or bad? And then he has some recommendations for me in anime. Campfire Cooking in Another World. MC Cooks Good Food. Okay, I'm taking pictures. These fucking titles sound fake, but I know they're real because they're anime.
No, they're just Japanese.
When they're pumping them out so much, their titles kind of lack some directness and are far more creative or weird. I have not heard anything about the Malcolm reboot other than Bryan Cranston is excited just to be back with that cast again. That's all I've heard.
I will check out the show Sprung. Sorry, I was reading the chat real quick. Did you guys ever watch that other Greg Garcia show? Well, Script, have you ever heard of that other Greg Garcia show? It was like Martha Plimpton. It was a weird show, but it had that My Name is Earl vibe. And I think they even brought all the characters back. It was like The Middle, but it was a little different. It was weird, but
I think I know what you're talking about. Yes. Because it had that kid, that weird looking kid who was wait, that was no, that was The Middle, wasn't it? No.
Yeah, that was The Middle. I'm thinking of a show called Raising Hope.
Raising Hope, thank you. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, that was solid too. Yeah. All these Greg Garcia shows don't last very long, but I'd rather watch a good show that doesn't last long than a show that, you know, drags down like
forever.
What show needs to end? The Simpsons, right? Is that the punchline?
Yeah, The Simpsons is one that needs to end. I mean, Supernatural finally ended after 11 years longer than it should have been.
Ouch. It does start out
Ow.
stronger than it ended. Like, I was watching that show during the pandemic, and Supernatural really hit for me. I was like, cool, I'm in. And then it's like, after 1,000,001 contrivances, it's just like, oh, okay. After he goes to hell and this and that, serum and all that shit, I don't need to know how it ends. I assume they all die and go to hell. That's it. That's all she wrote for me.
Simpler
What
that
actually
way.
happened? Did they survive and go to heaven, or did they just live?
I don't know. I couldn't get into the series when I knew that the person who quote unquote created it actually stole it from a friend of mine who pitched it to the WCW network about a year and a half prior.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty messed up.
That's one of the rare instances when, you know, someone in the room's like, yeah, I like this, but I don't like that person. And I'm going to just kind of take it and finagle it just enough so that the WGA can't do anything about it.
That's shitty.
Yeah, it's really rare to see those types of things happen, especially for, like, you know, a studio supported network like CW was, because they don't need to take other people's ideas. They got so many people coming after them with options. Even today, when they're no longer making like fictional content, they're doing like game shows and stuff. There's so many people going up there saying, I got this game show idea, and CW is like always entertaining them. In fact, pilot season is supposedly coming back this year. Because it's a good model to test out whether or not you invest in a show, as opposed to this commitment of 8 to 13 episodes for a streaming series. Like, yeah,
I want TV to come back. I will sit through 3 minutes of commercials if I don't have to pay $20 a month to watch your show. I find it bullshit that I pay to watch commercials.
Yeah, I mean, that's cable though, like old school cable. But you're absolutely right. I mean, the traditional network model, perfect thing to do. It worked great. And you literally had someone else build a digital infrastructure of exactly the network model. And instead of just doing that, you decided to make a streaming service. Like, moronic. Retarded, as they say today in 2026.
It's back, folks. We didn't bring it back. It's just back.
It
so
could not
funny.
die.
Yeah.
It could be suppressed, but it could not ever vanish.
No, like Vice City is the best retarded joke ever in my life is Grand Theft Auto has a fake movie trailer called Knife After Dark, and it's a slasher movie, and it ends with Knife After Dark, rated R for retarded. And that's 23 years ago, and I still laugh every time hell, there is a WCBS shirt that only the four of us own. You've seen the logo where it just says rated R. The real version said rated R for retarded, and I got that printed for us. I wouldn't sell it because it was 2020 and the world was different back then. But there is official WCBS shit for the guys that rate this show as rated R for retarded.
That's amazing.
I still think you should probably sell that shirt.
Okay, fine.
You'd probably make money.
Rated R for retarded ESRB shirt, like I'll make it. I need to sell 20 of them. Okay, fine. Let me write it down. I'll do weird shit if people buy it. Like,
that'll sell, man. There's no way that doesn't sell.
Right. And then what you just put as a disclaimer on the shop page, like, not to be conflated with actual people with mental disabilities.
Yeah, dude, that's like how we operate. We have 2 rules on the channel: no slurs, don't make fun of the handicapped, because that's just shitty, like bad taste. But other than that, everything else is fair game. So we're not making fun of anybody. We're just making fun of, well, people who have their faculties and just do stupid ass shit.
Yeah, that's being retarded. Because it's an active
that's just
thing
being
to do.
retarded.
That's something that's out of your control. Like, you have
Stop
to
making fun of disabled people. I'm not. I'm making fun of retarded people.
Oh God, I wish they would have done a full Simple Jack movie. I'd watch that. Have you ever seen the fake cardboard cutouts for that?
I don't think so.
When Tropic Thunder came out, they made real standees for movie theaters of Simple Jack the movie. Yeah, I'm almost positive they had one at my local theater in college. So either way, we're bringing back the R word, the hard R. Thank you, Enrique, for your message. He has another one that says the casts that were kind of brought back in Raising Hope for a couple of episodes. Raising Hope was good as well. What I saw, dude, I liked it. I like the sitcoms where it's not the perfect idyllic life, and I also like Roseanne's cool. It's fine. I like that show, The Middle. The shows I don't like are like Modern Family. I don't find that shit funny at all. I don't get
Modern
why it's
Family
funny.
didn't win me over until I saw the gay couple desperately trying to convince the admissions officer to let their daughter into this private daycare. And it was hysterical because the big fat guy pretended to be like he was part First Nations or part indigenous, and he started speaking like a very offensive Indian person about his husband who happens to have ginger hair, calling him hair of fire. It was just a really funny scene. It had brilliant character stuff, and it's like, okay, I'm won over from that alone. And then it has its point of comedy, but then it also gets a lot of sappy drama, emotional stuff. Not like Friends level, but just other stuff. Ty Burrell, however, is really good in it. Ariel Winter was a breakout star for a child actress, and I hope she's able to because she had to get away from a very toxic relationship with her family. They were kind of exploiting her. Not sexually or anything, just like trying to control her weight and trying to tell her she has to work all the time. She can't, go out with friends or make friends, that type of thing. Like, what the Culkins try to do to Macaulay.
Right.
Oh, I watched a long video about his life recently around Christmas because,
Mm-hmm.
you're watching Home Alone 1 and 2 and you're like, I wonder what Macaulay Culkin's up to nowadays. So I found a whole video on that. Yeah, it's kind of a messed up situation, but he has a golden or a silver lining to his story. Like, according to the video, he got his money, like his $50 million fortune. And yeah, what you go through isn't cool. I'm not saying that's whatever, but like, he's got a wife, he's got a kid. And
yeah, he wound up marrying one of the
$50
Disney Channel stars, I think. Forget what her name was. The little Asian girl. Can't remember her name.
Well, either way, he's doing movies and projects that fulfill his own talent as opposed to
good for him.
Paycheck, which is like that's a sweet spot for an actor. So, although I do know that there's a huge lobby for him to play the Joker in the new DCU, and I kind of support that because I think he really brings something interesting to the role.
If I'm willing to give him a chance, I hated Jared Leto. And I had to give him a chance because everyone's like, you have to give Heath Ledger. He was fuck off. Look, Macaulay Culkin's interesting. That could be cool. I haven't seen him act in anything in like 20 years though, so I hope he can still.
What's his face? Was it Skarsgård? That was.
He's kind of already done it with the It monster, so he's.
Well, I got a hot take. Let's just not put the Joker in a Batman movie for like 5 years. But let's do Batman.
I agree with that.
I would say this.
I agree with that.
If you're going to do a trilogy of Batman films, end with the Joker.
Yeah.
Don't put him in the middle act like a freaking hubris piece of crap that Nolan is.
Oh, how you really feel there, buddy?
Wow. There it is.
Listen, like, don't get me wrong. He knows how to shoot something, but it's really offensive to see someone that, even when he's working on his own original stuff, he doesn't put in the effort to make it sell. Like he's using flash and substance, and he is a highbrow version of what J.J. Abrams wishes he could be.
Oof. Employed?
He legitimately is. Like I'm looking forward to the Odyssey, but I know for a fact that Nolan has never read the book, never read the poems. He's playing with it as much liberty as he can, while at the same time trying to espouse that he's being as authentic as possible to it, which is his modus operandi, and it's always a lie every time.
I didn't realize he didn't have any. So what you're telling me is I should make a movie based on, let's see. Oh, I should make the Silmarillion movie, correct? Since I've never read it. I kind of know
that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, you make a 6-hour epic of the Silmarillion. Don't have to read it. Just get other people to do it for you and give you the clip notes, and then you just push through. As long as you can get like Wally Pfister or some great DP and a couple of amazing set designers and actors to do all the heavy lifting.
Will he what?
No, his real name is Wally Pfister, but I like how you went Wally Pfister, great DP. I was just like, dude, you just set that one up. Thank you.
Man, okay, yeah, and I apparently I have reached maximum saturation of not having had wine all month, and so my brain heard something entirely different.
Hey, I'm proud that you've taken a month off wine. If it was a choice, hey, continue.
Yeah, it was a choice. It wasn't. I know people do like dry January or whatever. I didn't even think about that. I just every year I pick a month, and I just do a detox. That's all. There's no moral thing behind it. No.
You're just like, I'm just not drinking in January or whatever the window is. I respect that. what were we talking about a second ago? Batman.
Well, we were
Joker.
talking about like I talked about how I have a disdain for Nolan just because like if he didn't go out and say I'm trying to make the most authentic, faithful thing ever, just instead I'm just going to make a really fun movie because I have these fun ideas about it. I'd respect him a lot more. But like when he was doing Oppenheimer, he based it off of one book of that situation, a book that is heavily contested for being grossly incorrect. It's a fun movie and a fun way he tells a story, but the fact that he tries to sell it as like, no, this is how it really happened, and we did everything, and we decided to actually really make a huge explosion to as closely possible simulate an atomic bomb. You don't need to waste. Nobody cares. Nobody actually cares. But he puts all that effort in to try and get a certain type of audience to actually care. The other part too, him perpetuating that fake story about how the hospital in The Dark Knight didn't blow up on time and Heath Ledger improvised his actions before getting on the bus. It's like, no, he didn't. That's an IMAX camera. You have to pull manual focus. If something goes wrong, there's no way. The best focus pullers in the world could not adjust for Heath Ledger if he went off his mark on an IMAX camera. Everything was meticulously staged down to the second. And it went off without a hitch because everybody on that production was absolutely professional. But to push a lie that, it didn't blow up on time, that he had to improvise, like, dude.
Yeah, because I've seen a zillion and a half like YouTube shorts talking about that, Heath Ledger just, he improvised that. I've never heard anybody talk about how that's actually horse crap.
Well, the cult of Nolan fandom. Like, I don't want to disrespect anybody out there because I know people that consider themselves cinephiles that respect Christopher Nolan. I always look at Christopher Nolan as a cheap way to present yourself as knowing more. And the way you're talking about him, it almost sounds like that's how he operates. So it makes sense that the whole cult around him is just like him, which makes me, I don't know, I don't dislike it. I don't ever dislike Nolan. The reason I brought him up, Script, is I actually thought about a movie that I wanted him to make. In the vein of Oppenheimer, I will kind of want him to make a Apollo 11 movie, because I went down there to see all this stuff and I was like, man, an Oppenheimer style 3-hour story about this and how we're going to get to the moon. Start with Kennedy, talk about this, talk about the Russians. Hell,
it'd be shot really well.
Oh yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Well, we might as well just get Ron Howard or Bryce Dallas Howard to do it, because Ron Howard did the greatest Apollo 13. That too also has a little bit of liberties to it, but he wasn't trying to. I don't recall any advertisement where he's trying to say, this is the most 100% authentic, true thing ever. He's like, no, we took everything that happened, we added some extra drama, we made it work so that you guys can enjoy yourself. I remember that vividly because my dad was a huge NASA nut. Like he'd been to the Space Kennedy Center like a dozen times. They almost knew him by name, first name there, because he loved that type of stuff before he passed away. And when Apollo 13 came out, we went and saw that. He then took me to a bunch of the aerospace museums that are throughout North America. There's one in Canada. There's a few dozens in the United States. And he's like, this is like the crowning part of human achievement, being able to actually like set foot on another planet. And this is how they did it. And he was blown away by this. And he was a huge math nut and he wanted to become an astronaut. But funnily enough, when he was taking his course in college for physics, it was by a Vietnam veteran who just spent the entire class talking about his troubles in Vietnam. He then switched to the night class thing because it's supposed to be a different teacher. And it was the same guy filling in because that teacher had appendicitis and was going to be out for 7 weeks. And he's like, I'm not learning anything in this program. So he did a deferral. And then from that deferral, like other parts and other responsibilities of life took over. And he ended up not doing that. And he ended up working at a really cool construction type of job and mineral job. And all of his brilliant math skills got into play there for, the rest of his life. And that was actually pretty cool.
Right on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that went off on a tangent.
No, you're good. I'm thinking about my trip to the space center. I keep wanting to call it the space station because fuck, when I went there, I was like, I just want to go to outer space right now. Can they let me on? The rocket's about to go off. Artemis. They're going to slingshot around the moon, which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
Do they still have the LEM that you can like step inside, or do they stop doing that? The LEM, Lunar Excursion Module. They have a model of that. Do they still have that there that you could go inside, or there's
a lunar module, but you're not allowed to go in it. They have like the capsule They have a bunch of stuff that you could go sit in. I said to Nick, I don't know how I could be an astronaut, because if this is the real space capsule they were riding in at one point,
You had to be under 6 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I can't get my head in this fucking thing. So I'm not going to outer space at my size. I guess at the end of the day, it's okay, but it would be cool to get on a ship and just take off from Earth and fly up like you're in a space movie and, I don't know, come back home. But, oh well. It's not like I was going to spend, what is it, $3 million on Virgin, or was $3 million for Richard Branson to fly you into space for a little bit?
Yeah, and you're not even like outside of the real atmosphere. You're in low Earth orbit.
Well, it's better than Ohio. What is
well, you see more of the planet than what you do from Ohio.
Well, you don't see anything from Ohio. There's just a bunch of hills in Cincinnati and then disappointment. It's like, yeah.
Oh, you get the Great Lakes.
I'm in Cincinnati, dude. I see the Ohio River. It's as brown as Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
Yeah.
They could clean that up. I don't know why they don't. It doesn't cost a lot of money these days compared to what it was 30 years ago.
The thing is, it's cleaner than it was, but it's still dirty. It's like when you would go over it early 2000s, maybe into the 2010s, it was like the shade of a Hershey bar. Yeah. Now it's like the shade of an old Hershey bar, because you know how chocolate loses its color as it gets old?
Yep.
It's like an old dog turd. That's what it looks like, okay? The Ohio River's nasty. Don't swim in it. Don't fish in it. Don't go in it. Just stay away. Like, just don't come to Ohio. I'm telling you now, as the king of Ohio, you're not welcome here. You don't want to be here. Do yourselves a favor and leave. I want to.
Tell us how you really
by the
feel,
way, that
Jeff.
needs to be a clip, Jeff. You need to clip that.
The king of Ohio don't come here?
They're like, welcome to Ohio. Get out.
That whole spiel you just did about the river, that needs to be clipped.
Yeah.
Fine, I'm writing it down.
Clip it.
Put it on a short.
People are like, why do you hate Ohio so much? I live here.
Because I live here.
Clone Geek, as the Prince of Ohio, I agree with our king. Well, you understand. You're too far from me. It's not like we're up north where there are lakes and beautiful things. It's like, hey, welcome to Wapakoneta. Our name's the most interesting thing. We have a Shell gas station and a Burger King. That's like most of Ohio. Like when I drive to Michigan, it's you drive through Dayton, and then it's country, and then you're in Michigan, and then you're just like, this state is run better than ours. So.
That's saying something.
I was gonna say, man, that's rough.
Do you think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
days
will like pick up shop and move over to Detroit just because it might be safer?
I would. Like the river in Cleveland has caught fire. In 1973, it was so polluted that the river just exploded into flames.
Yeah, it turned into the River Styx. I know.
Yeah.
So he told me
I would believe that the flames were even green.
Dude, in the same decade, the other river froze solid and you could drive cars over it.
Mm-hmm.
My God in heaven.
Yeah, it's a weird place. There's a book called Strange Ohio that they sell at every bookstore here. And it's just strange facts you know about Ohio. It's the dumbest book. It's like, oh, somebody died in a tree once. It's like, okay, that's cool. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people died in trees, and you know what? I'm not going to make that.
Yeah,
joke.
I know where you're going there, and I'm glad you stopped.
I'm like, somebody died inside of a tree. Never mind. We're not that south. Okay?
Oh, man. Oh.
No, they climbed into a hollow tree, got stuck, and died. Yes, I know that story.
Oh, okay. Get out. Oh, folks, if you want more random Ohio facts,
I wanted to call him the human termite, but nobody realized it didn't take.
Does TikTok have a ban on cuss words for accounts? Because I think Shitty Ohio would be the best name.
I don't know, because I'm not on TikTok enough beyond just like when I have to upload videos for the Rippaverse. But even then, I don't go on TikTok to do that. I use a social media manager platform that I can just post crap to all the platforms directly from with one
like
button.
what Google Plus used to do. Yeah.
God,
I miss when we used to be able to broadcast through Google.
Oh yeah, what was it, Meet or what was it?
No,
Hangouts.
Meet still exists.
Hangouts is what
Hangouts was what the thing. You can do it through Google Meets, like pair it with StreamYards, but yeah, it's not the same.
I'm reading the people in the chat spell it Chitty. Actually, it's funny. I was going to do that. I actually wrote Shitty Ohio. I do have a comment.
It's almost like South Park. Welcome to Shitty Walk, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to Shitty Ohio, home of nothing. What can I get you? Nothing, because we don't have anything.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's closed.
Yeah. Our football teams, they suck too.
Yeah.
We have one of the first baseball teams in Cincinnati. Haven't done shit in decades. Like
The Drew Carey Show is 100% fiction. Even its theme song, Cleveland Rocks.
Yeah. Although I have seen a lot of women that look just like Mimi in parts of Cleveland, so maybe there's some validity to that show after all. I
What
did
came
watch
first,
it.
Mimi or the people who Mimi inspired?
That's like a chicken and the egg paradox. Folks
Yeah,
in the
like
chat,
which
let us
one
know
did
right
it?
now.
Your theory below.
What if we actually got to like some weird, like deeply philosophical discussion about that? Like we tried to figure it out. We're like, all right, so the first recorded history of a Mimi like is 1922. So there we go. Like we could do that. We could be pop culture anthropologists. Probably fall asleep.
Actually, that would be pop culture anthropology would be a good like sub show to have.
All right. Well, I'm writing it down because actually in the video I wrote today, I used the phrase pop culture and anthropology. So
It's a good phrase.
That is great.
You could be the pop culture anthropologists.
well, it's the way I'm looking at stuff is it's like there's so much to talk about now.
Mhm.
But the angle of yelling into the void about wokeness or they're taking over or some shit, it's like it's not 2016.
No, it's
Everybody-
played
Not
out.
trending anymore. Like that's the
It's
thing.
played out, and it's not accurate really anymore.
And what
Not in the way that it was.
the only way some sort of topic like that is stays relevant is if you can bring something new to it on a regular basis. And frankly, it was such a simple problem. It doesn't have the complexity where you could actually extrapolate more newer takes or newer ideas about this aspect. Because what we've been learning for the last 8 years or so is that it's mildly intentional, but it's basically just more incompetence and lack of creativity and strategic thinking than it is of we want to deliberately destroy all these things so that they don't make money. It's like, no, we think this bad data, if we put this bad data into these properties, it will make money because the data says it will, but the data is not legit.
The data's bad.
And that's why everything fails and falls apart.
Well, I like where we kind of are because it's like you can talk about this and not, you know what I'm saying, like in great detail. There's so many interesting ways to discuss the future of a lot of the stuff, even like Star Wars. It's not an exciting topic to talk about in the ways of like what they've done to the franchise. It's exciting to talk about the impact and the ramifications on the greater entertainment pop culture scale. That's what's fascinating to me because it's like it's like Rome falling. Like you have the franchise of franchises, and in under a decade, it shit the bed, metaphorically speaking, and financially in many ways. And I find that a fascinating topic, and it still is something that's relevant because we're in the regrowth phase of a massive failure. And it's interesting to see if people will come back because earlier in the show, we talk about how it's a dead franchise or dormant franchise to millions of people.
Yeah.
Are they going to look at that as, oh, it's back and get excited? I don't know because we're only 4 months away from that Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And like we talked earlier, the hype around the He-Man trailer has had more discourse than that Grogu trailer from late last year. So
Yep. Almost around this time last year, right? It didn't come out in spring-ish? I'm really wishing it's spring right now just because of the amount of snow I have outside.
hey, I can't compare. You have 3 feet, we have a foot, but it's also 9 degrees out and it's really cold. So
Yeah, that's around what we have here. We're -9, so like, you know, that's
because they keep telling us with the wind chill factor, it feels like which I mean, I know how that works. What do we have? What's our wind chill factor? I guess I don't see it, but we're gonna be -1 today.
Oh wow,
So
that's cold.
exciting.
that's pretty cold. Yeah.
That is pretty darn cold. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yours is probably more accurate because I made a joke that nobody at Environment Canada knows anything about Canada or the environment because they predicted it was going to be -30 over the weekend, and they put a warning alert for 40 centimeters of snow, and every Canadian looked at that and said, "Oh, you mean it's going to be a Monday in
Wow.
January?" Like, come on, man.
You know what the
That's silly.
most messed up thing though is, and I'll keep the weather talk to a minimum unless anyone's out there fighting off Hoff. Went to Florida for Nick's birthday. It was in the 40s. There was one day where it was warm enough to wear shorts. I wore because I took a jacket to wear on the plane. I wore that every day. I was like, man, I thought Florida was nicer. But
weird weather this past week.
yep,
A little weird, but I will say this: it's actually par for the course because we were due for this this influx. This comes usually every 4 to 6 years. So, I mean, the only difference is that it slightly comes a little bit later, just because Earth's rotation. Here's some sci-fi knowledge for you, both not fiction but sci-fi knowledge for you. Earth's rotation around the sun is not exact in sync with our actual calendar. There's several decimal points added onto it, which is why the leap year was invented, to kind of correct it, but it doesn't correct it. It just makes it the difference be slower. So in about I think 3,000 to 6,000 years, the northern hemisphere's winter will be in the summer months, and its summer will be in the winter months.
Oh man, a hot December.
Yep, just like Australia.
But
Australia will then have winter in December and summer in
And that sounds like a whole lot of not my problem.
Yeah.
Well, here's something crazy though about Ohio, at least Cincinnati. I'm 37. I'd say 20 or more Christmases of my life, the weather's been oddly warm compared to the other days. Like there was a year where it was like in the 30s one day, and then 2 days later, which was Christmas, it was like 62 degrees. I was like, okay, I can wear shorts to Christmas. This year, it was colder, but it was like warmer than usual. Like I don't get why every Christmas, for some reason, it gets warmer in Cincinnati just for a little bit, and then goes right back to freezing.
Even though you're in Cincinnati, you're still somewhat close to the Great Lakes because there's about 5 of them in the area, and in that region there, it restores heat and pushes off heat. During the summer, it stores it, and then during the winter, it kind of pushes it off slowly. And that's usually why you get some warm fronts around the holiday season.
Well, I like.
However, it also comes with a blowback, which is that once most of that heat kind of dissipates, which usually comes around late January, early February, that's where you get your really big chills, your heavy snowfall.
Hey, I'm living in it now, man. I went outside to dig out a car, but that's kind of been about it. I got to go to my mailbox, so that'll be fun.
Oh,
let's see. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Swift says, more overrated, Nolan's greatness or the Avatar trilogy?
Ooh, probably Avatar trilogy.
Yeah. Did anyone see 3?
No,
I still haven't seen 2.
James
and
Cameron
I probably won't.
James Cameron's very upset with the United States of America because they don't like his last few movies compared to the rest of the world.
Well, James, if you make something, here's my thing. James Cameron made, we won't give him Aliens credit because like Alien came from something else, but he, with the Terminator, created something really cool and really epic and really awesome. It's really hard to match that level because we live in a society where we don't really get over things. If we like it, if it's good, it gets re-released because there's a market for it and they keep making merchandise. Terminator 2 is still on all the time. Terminator 2, yes, it's very 90s, but it feels as relevant now as it ever has. More so than Titanic or True Lies or The Abyss or anything like that. But it's like there's no reason, or I'm surprised he's upset about that because it just, Avatar is so generic, and it's like he had to trick himself into believing that it's not Fern Gully and Pocahontas and 12 other stories that you've all seen before. And blue CGI creatures, it's not 2009, man. This isn't like if we're back in 1999 looking at Jar Jar. Oh, fuck it, let's take it to 93. Wow, a CGI dinosaur. Jurassic Park's awesome, 10 out of 10, right?
Yep.
Great. But when you get to like Jurassic Dominion and all this other shit, you're just like, hey, another CGI dinosaur. Avatar's, hey, another CGI alien. Hey, another CGI water and firefight. Hey, some bullshit mystical story that I don't give a fuck about. That's all Avatar is. And the rest of the world likes it. But America, we're not the best in the world at everything, but we know our movies. Damn it, Terminator 2 is better than Avatar. So that's
Terminator 2 is better than Avatar. I mean, the Terminator franchise is a combination of 2 Outer Limits episodes written by Harlan Ellison.
That's why he gets the credit on the videotape.
That's right, exactly. Like, listen, James Cameron knows how to market and get people to see his movies, you know, on a broader spectrum, but he is not the most creative person. The biggest movies that he's had has come from other people's ideas. Like Avatar is even still a hybrid of all these other things that have happened. Titanic is essentially Romeo and Juliet on a boat. You know, it's a class conflict of classes and an antagonist where the only thing the difference is like, well, what if Juliet lives at the end? You know, But like, yeah, he's not an original person. This is a guy who is from London, Ontario. He used to be a truck driver, and I have no disrespect for truck drivers because they're awesome people. But he got into film with Roger Corman in special effects, and he understood how people behave, but he has no imagination. Because even Aliens, the sequel, it's really just a retelling of Them, which is a movie about giant mutated ants that take over a southwest town, and it even has a little girl that's traumatized, and the main character is trying to, like, get her to talk. And it also has a bunch of tunnels and flamethrowers and finding the alien nest the ant nest and burning them alive. It's got a lot of there's a lot of aspects and elements to it that are repeated in Aliens.
I think James Cameron's best contribution to film is like the visuals, because we'll just use Aliens for an example. And I don't know if he ripped this off, but Aliens feels like live action anime, like what Japan was putting out on celluloid, or that's what cell is. America was doing, James Cameron was making that live action, and there's like a weirdness to Aliens that I appreciate because it looks nothing like nothing else in that decade,
right?
But it also looks like the shit that people love today, and so it just, like Terminator 2, sticks around. I think that could be some of the cause beyond just Avatar sucking. It's like James Cameron is this, like, we're going to use a word from his fucking a movie, a tech noir type of director, this guy who creates these dark dystopian worlds with really cool technology and a story that has heart. Like Terminator 2 has more heart than Titanic and Avatar and all the other ones rolled into one. Like Terminator 2 is the story of a kid and his robot sidekick who eventually has to sacrifice himself because he has no purpose now that his mission's achieved. But it's something human out of something not. Like there's layers to it. What is a layer to Avatar? Nature is beautiful. We shouldn't destroy it.
Well, its layers are Pocahontas, Fern Gully, Dances with Wolves,
and the Lorax.
And Smurfs.
Yeah, and the Lorax. Yeah.
I
think probably I'm trying to. The one thing I can't fully identify is I think The Abyss might be the closest to an original one, but it might be also off of an obscure book. That's going to bug me for a bit.
Abyss is solid.
Yeah, no, Abyss is good. It's just I don't. That might be the closest thing to an original story James Cameron has done.
I've seen that one a few times actually,
and I've only seen it once. I'm looking to see if it was adapted from anything. Written by James Cameron, produced by Gail Ann Hurd.
Gail Ann Hurd's awesome. She's supposed to be speaking this summer at one of the universities in California. I want to go listen to her because she's a heck. Now that's a really good producer.
Yeah. Didn't she buy the Terminator rights from Cameron for and then he bought them back for $1 or some joke like that? Wasn't that
Yeah, she was able to negotiate the sale of the rights back, and then the whole idea was that if Cameron was going to try and buy them because he has so much more money, they were going to try and screw him over. So Gail Ann Hurd said, "Let me jump in the middle mix there. I can get the rights back for a reasonable cost, and then I'll sell them to you, quote unquote, for $1." But I'm pretty sure she got paid back for whatever she spent on the rights by Cameron.
Okay, I thought I heard a story about $1, like that was like a joke or something. Okay,
well, so the dollar thing. This is a Canadian tactic where if we want to kind of like sell something that we think is going to be very valuable to the world, we'll patent it and then sell that patent for $1.
Oh,
yeah.
I need to visit Canada. I've seen it. I know people from it. I know it's real, but I haven't been yet myself.
Is it though?
Oh, it's very real once you get up here.
I like in my mind, like the definition of shit getting real in Canada is not the same as it is in America. It's like, I don't want to be mean. It's like a moose got loose. What do? Shoot it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, actually, yes, you do shoot it. You shoot it. And then you have a great feast afterwards.
Like, is Bob and Doug McKenzie accurate? Because that's kind of my idea of what Canada was like.
To a number of regions outside of Southern Ontario, yes, it's very, very accurate. The irony is that a lot of people think like Toronto's like this super like crazy leftist city, but it's not, because right now the federal government is trying to put in a gun buyback program, and the Toronto PD said we are not participating in that because we think that every Canadian has a right to defend themselves.
Based.
Yes.
There we go, Canada.
And also that city is a huge is the financial capital of the country, which means it's all banks and businesses. They're not really keen on those identity politics.
Yeah, because they don't make money.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the people that live there, they're more onto that side, but they also have a lot of empathy towards like actual like humanistic things. And that's where you get the conflation, because you also have a bunch of silly people that are really, really loud that are trying to say, oh, we're this, that. And I know this because I live in an unincorporated region that is currently being administered by Toronto, because we don't have a population being incorporated into our own town yet. But yeah, it's really funny. And I commute into that city like many times a week. And they're long train rides. And then this summer I might have to take a train ride across the country. I want to fly, but unfortunately, the project I'm going to be on compels me to be on a train.
I
And it's going to be a 6-day travel because we're a massively large country.
I've always wanted to go on one of those train murder mystery things. Like they do it, like a Christie style. That just would be fun. It's like LARPing. Okay, so much has happened since we last streamed. Like Kathleen Kennedy gone and out, but there really isn't anything to say. I don't care. But they did say that this Disneyland is going to the original trilogy, which I do have a video in production about, because it's more of the economics and the actual business ramifications. But in my mind, I thought, like, I think it's like a time for a victory lap, because we're going to watch the crap we hate get pushed out. I know it sounds crazy, but we're watching it happen. Every space but the Disney Plus, it's like, this doesn't exist. Like, go into a store, you can find Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man next to Tom Holland these days, but you don't find new stuff versus old stuff. It's just old stuff. I think every other brand knows how to like do their history and their future and their present all in one. Like wrestling's great for it. You go down their toy aisle, it's like, well, here's a Kurt Angle figure from 25 years ago. Well, in a style, it's new, but it's an old design. It's like, oh man, here's John Cena and Roman Reigns and this and that. There's something for everybody. That's what I thought they should have done all those years ago when they opened up Galaxy's Edge, but they wanted to just focus on that corporate synergy, that branding, that idea of we need to make sure that this is relevant everywhere, and it didn't work. And so now we're going back to the original. Did you guys see this, and what did you think?
I thought it's funny that this is the longest Hollywood enema we have ever written.
Man. Wow.
Have you ever unironically said this town needs an enema?
No, not for Hollywood.
I mean, it's time.
That's a joke that's been around since the 70s. And the fact that Jack Nicholson got to say it in Batman was brilliant, because it had many more meanings than initially intended. But yeah, like, so 2019 was the year, and I know a lot of people want to dispute this, but sadly it was the year when the major Hollywood studios, except for Disney, realized the identity politics of the woke stuff isn't working, and they changed gears. And everything that was in production up until that point was just kind of like left on autopilot to be released as it was. And the stuff that was being worked on was starting to be released late 2023. 2024 was the first year we saw significant change. 2025, it doubled down even better, with one exception, the greatest battle in the world, the Leonardo DiCaprio thing, whatever the heck that was. That's a P.T. Anderson. Is that the right? Yeah. Paul Thomas Anderson thing. That's his own project. He's got a lot of clout in the industry, so we can get away with his dream projects like that. However, it is probably going to sweep the awards because there's a lot of really well-made aspects to it, but the story itself is pretty questionable, I would say.
How can you say that Sinners isn't going to sweep with its 16 nominations, a record for any film? You already said enough with that side. You don't have to stop.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's a lot of aspects of Sinners that I enjoyed, but its third act falls apart a lot, and it's too long, and it didn't need to be that way. And also, I think the love interest looked 20 years older than Michael B. Jordan, even though I think they're relatively the same age.
The large lady that had
the large lady who I was watching the movie at first, I thought that's his mother, and then all of a sudden they start having sex. I'm like, what the heck? And then you find out, oh no, they were married and they had him, and their child died, and it's like, oh, okay, like, freaked me out there for a bit. Haley Steinfeld was amazing in it, though.
She was. I've already said my piece about that movie. It's fine. Just didn't change my life. I like From Dusk Till Dawn more. If I want to pick my vampires, trap people in a drinking establishment, I'm going Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney.
Yeah.
But,
Oh yeah, I mean, heck, From Dusk Till Dawn. I was saying this on another stream. It's also technically an homage to Assault on Precinct 13.
That's a great film.
Which is John Carpenter, a great underrated film. It wasn't even originally titled Assault on Precinct 13 because they're not in Precinct 13 when they're doing it. It was just a catchy thing.
Didn't the marketing people make it up, or
yeah, the marketing department did it, and John Carpenter says, "Yeah, okay, sure, let's go with it."
I would rank it pretty highly in terms of his films because it's just for what it is, for how small and how cheap it was made. That's where I like John Carpenter to live. I want him to make $1 million, like $10 million a movie on his personal, payment. I want him to be paid, but I like when his movies are made for nothing because he can make magic out of thin air. Like Assault on Precinct 13 has so much shit, and there's no better indicator of that than Halloween, a $300,000 movie that went from nothing to a cultural icon. Michael Myers is literally everywhere. He's a Funko Pop. He's in your kids stores, like you name it. He's just a caricature of the horror season. But it came from nothing, and that's why I like Carpenter so much.
Halloween didn't necessarily come from nothing. It came from a Bob Clark film called Black Christmas with Margot Kidder. And Carpenter liked it so much that him and Bob Clark, because they're good friends, he's like, I've got the same idea where I kind of want to do the same techniques. Do I have your permission to do it? Because I want to do it for another holiday. And he's like, Bob Clark's like, yeah, go right ahead, man. Like, because that's the synergy that they had. And then he made Halloween. And the whole idea is they were kind of possibly going to do these serial killer stories around holidays throughout the year. Ended up not going that way because Halloween took off way more than they ever expected it to.
And rightly so.
Yeah.
I just meant like a small budget. Like when I mean from nothing,
yes.
Like just like, you give him $300,000 in a neighborhood, and that's pretty much what Halloween is. It's very small, and I always respect it for that. But
heck, Escape from New York is also really small. That 3D model that you see in the first one, it's literally just a bunch of cardboard boxes shaped like New York skyline and glow in the dark green tape.
And it looks great. Dude, that's a $50 million box office movie. Like that is a hit. Just like Halloween. He had a couple like massive wins. And it's weird how the box office shows it that people liked it. I do think those ones are some of his best. The Thing is also a 10 out of 10 film, and I love it. I just, we're not talking about that right now. I know people in the chat might be like, but what about The Thing?
Well, The Thing is a great film, but John Carpenter as a director, he had the worst luck because he had to compete in some of the most competitive years of Hollywood in that decade. Not by his own choice. It was all by basically the people that bought the distribution contracts. They wanted to put his stuff, which was authentically great, up against some other really great stuff instead of trying to parse it out better for your maximum return. But yeah, John Carpenter is one of the greats out there. Doesn't get enough attention. Doesn't get enough love in the industry. He should still be working like regularly, all the time. I want to go back and rewatch John Carpenter's Vampires because that was a crazy fun film.
Good old James Woods.
James Woods. That's the first time when I was a kid, I saw an interview with James Woods where he's talking about that script, and that's the first time when I understood how scripts work, because James Woods said, I'm reading the script, and most of the time I've read so many scripts, I figure out exactly how the story ends within the first 10 pages. And John Carpenter gives me Vampires, and it's the first script I've read in decades where I didn't know how it was going to end. And that's when I knew I had to do this project. I'm like, that's your trick. That's how you do good writing. You got to make sure that their audience doesn't know how it's going to end, but they have to keep on reading or watching. And then by the time you hit the ending, everything that you've come up to that point makes perfect sense. It's called the rule of inevitability.
See, folks, you learn something every week here on the show. That's why you should subscribe to us as well as Script Doctor's Patreon, because you teach a lot over there, right? Like people could, in theory, support you, glean a lot of knowledge from what you're putting out there, and then make works of their own, correct?
That is correct. So my Patreon has article lessons, but also every week we review a screenplay that's circulating around Hollywood. And then the follow-up of that episode, I put in a little blurb about what was learned from that script, where you can do better, what you can do, what to avoid, etc. And as you piece them over together, and we've got about 105 episodes up there, where you can watch all of them. You'll see a lot of similar lessons or overlap lessons that just reaffirm the lessons that they are, why they work the way they do, and why it's important to know them, so that if you do understand them enough, you can break them without breaking your story. And that's one of the big aspects of it. And every once in a while, I'll throw out an article of another idea or something. Like I've been working on this article about how the Dark Knight promotes state-controlled communism with the ending. It's a satirical thing, but it draws on actual aspects of it, because again, how dare the city hide the crimes of Harvey Dent just to try to preserve a legacy that was good, but then showing him that he was as human as everybody else. So you obfuscate empathy by not by hiding the imperfections of someone. So you make him die a martyr for a cause that allows abuse of state power in order to try and control a criminal element that through incompetence fostered to the way it was. So yeah, that's a little tidbit of what I'll be getting at in regards to that movie.
I just love when people talk about that film like it's a film and not say it's the greatest thing ever blindly, because I'm not anti-Nolan. I'm just overpraising something. There's a point where it's like, it's good. It is good.
Yeah, it is good.
But when they tell you it's literally flawless, like you get these, I don't want to name names, but you get these guys that write these full essays that are like, Christopher Nolan is art. Or like I watch these videos while I'm taking a shit and I go, you know what? I don't want to make content like this. I literally do watch it.
Yeah,
let's see.
You're avoiding less feces from your bowels than what's on that video talking about
exactly. And the thing is, they're so well thought out and like well produced, edited videos. But I just go, this guy is myopic, because I don't like people.
Good word.
I'm trying to come up with a phrase for it. It's like, I want to come up with a portmanteau of auteur and autism, because I feel like these people suffer from auteurism. We'll use the fucking phrase like that. Yeah. They think there's so much value in these auteurs, and they prescribe so much meaning to these little things, and they think that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but their worldview or their film watching history is this big. It's like, I get it that you think The Dark Knight is literal gold cinema, but have you ever watched The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? Have you ever sat down to watch the value of something even schlocky like an Andy Sedaris film? Have you ever watched what true crap is, like Samurai Cop? I'm not saying you need to watch everything like that to call yourself a film fan, but to only watch Nolan style films, you're robbing yourself of a great experience of entertainment. And two, there are other films that are like The Big Lebowski is better than anything Christopher Nolan made, and I'll stand by that to the fucking death. It's got depth, it's got humor, it's got everything you want in a movie, and it's just great. I don't think Nolan's made anything like that. He has adapted, and he has reintroduced, like Inception, great concept. It becomes a James Bond movie halfway. I like it, but I'm not watching it regularly. I don't think I've watched that movie in 15 years.
I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, you're the first person to bring it up in years that I know of. And I talk to a lot of people in film and entertainment, and no one talks about Inception. That's one of the cases here, is that, I mean, I think there are some interesting values and interesting takes that Nolan does, but I just don't believe he's authentic about it. He's not your Billy Wilder or your Alfred Hitchcock or your Stanley Kubrick or your John Carpenter, or heck, even your John Landis, who, as much as he is a fraud there, he at least believed in himself knowing that he's a fraud. Christopher Nolan is looking at all the great directors and says, I want to be like them. And instead of trying to be who he is. And I think if he was stuck more to who he was, and the most authentic directing I've ever seen him do in a story was the Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale film.
The Prestige?
The Prestige.
Yeah. And that was something that he did not have as much creative control in the script compared to everything else he's worked on. And I think that's probably why it's one of his better films.
I always mistake that movie with The Illusionist.
Yeah, because they came out around the same time.
Mm-hmm. I like them both.
Illusionist is fun. Yeah,
isn't Scarlett Johansson in one of them?
She is in The Prestige.
Okay. See, I can't. keep them together.
It was
But-
Edward Norton was in The Illusionist.
In The Illusionist, yeah.
It's a really good movie. I enjoy that. I kind of want to rewatch that movie now. I haven't seen that movie in probably a decade and a half.
Isn't it really nice though when you watch a movie for the first, like you take that break?
Mhm.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
movie kind of lives somewhere in your subconscious, but then you go back and you watch it. Like, I know this is not an apt comparison, but I'm going to make it anyway. Like, I took a year off of Back to the Future because I'm in this Facebook group that makes me want to pull my hair out. Like, these people post the dumbest shit, and like, I hate this movie. I don't. I just had to step away from it. But I recently sat down to watch it, and like, I mean, really watch it. No phone, no lights, no distractions, just glued in. And I was so happy to feel like, oh man, it's awesome. Like, everybody has that movie that you watch and you just feel something good. I just want, like, I hope that you get that when you watch old movies, because every time I pop in something that I haven't seen in a year or so, I get that fresh eye feeling, and I'm just like, yep, that's why I love it. And I'm, happy as a clam.
That's the power of really well made stories where people really were looking at, like, how do I make this the best it could possibly be? I mean, I love Robert Zemeckis. He's had a couple of big misses recently, and I think he's still trying to refine his footing. And I hope one day him and Bob Gale kind of like reconcile a little bit better and come together, because they really knew how to complement each other creatively. Like they wrote Bob Gale wrote a really fun script about a parody of the origin of McDonald's, and it's got that charm, and it's got all the elements that work well in Back to the Future for this one, without time travel, without the sci-fi aspects of it. And I think if the studios had a little less stupidity around them, they probably would have put that in, and that would have been another classic under the Zemeckis and Gale, teamwork.
I don't think I've watched Used Cars all the way ever, but I know they work together on that. But while
That was when they're still finding out who they were.
Oh, the only point I was going to say to you is I would love for that to happen, them to, reunite, make something great. But I almost like that Back to the Future kind of just exists as like, that's their thing.
Yeah.
And that's like it. Because I get mad at Robert Zemeckis, not personally, I don't know the guy, and he could be great. It's whoever markets his films. I hate how it's always from the director of Forrest Gump or like his newer movies. They never say from the director who brought you Back to the Future, because I guess tonally they don't want to get you thinking about Back to the Future, but very few people ever make something to that level. Like Star Wars, Jaws, a handful, like the legends.
I
You
think
don't see anything like that anymore.
So in that case here, typically, and marketing does this, has been doing this for decades, and they're stupid about it. But typically what they do is they don't market with the biggest hits. They market with what's the biggest hit that's as closest to the genre and tone of the movie we're about to be showing. And, you had that Zemeckis' latest film, which was Tom Hanks and
Robin Wright, right?
Robin Wright's, locked camera into that one room type of thing for 1,000 years or what have you.
Was that any good? Because I thought it looked stupid, so I passed.
Well, I got to read the script, which I really enjoyed, but I haven't had a chance to sit down and see how they pulled it off. I've only heard mixed things about it. Some people said, it kind of gets monotonous because it's the locked off camera. Others have said, like, what you get to see in the shot and the performances from Tom Hanks were absolutely like breathtaking. And it's kind of like a throwback to why you liked seeing these two characters together, these two actors to work off each other. But no, I got to find a way to check it out. I mean, again, I've got, a very long train ride coming up this summer, so I'm probably add it to my list of things to watch.
I'll record you. I will read the dialogue. I'll record you like a handful of Golden Age Batman comics as a podcast, but I'll use the 60s Batman music, and I'll do all the automatopoeia like Biff, Bam, Wow, Zaki, but it'll be all your favorite.
That's amazing.
I do it too. I know. An audience of one.
I mean, I do have this one fantasy that I would love to do audio commentary on the 60s Batman series with a follow-up to the Green Hornet.
Ooh, I love that show.
Because it only got one season, and it was totally very different than what they were doing with Batman. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff about that show, and I know exactly why it was canceled. They were trying to do it for really cheap, and it was still too expensive.
Imagine a world where they didn't cheap out, or here we go, script. Imagine a world where they didn't destroy the sets, and then NBC was trying to take it over, right? Because it was on ABC originally.
It was on ABC had it, and then NBC put in an offer to get it, but by the time ABC saw the offer, they had already destroyed the Batcave set, and NBC said,
Wow.
"Oh, if you didn't destroy it, we would have done it because we don't want to spend the money on building the Batcave set because it was an expensive set." But again, it was literally, I think, a matter of weeks between that. And I would have loved to have seen a couple more seasons of Batman, because that entire writing team was part of the contract to buy the show. So everybody would be exactly where they just moved over across the street to the other lot.
Because I just want to live in a fantasy world where like Adam West played Batman for like a decade and a half, but they still make the Michael Keaton movie the way it is. I like that show. It's fun. I was watching the one where they get flung from the catapult.
Oh yeah, like and he uses the back computer for the Batmobile to catch him in the net.
Yeah. I was like, that is clearly a dummy, and I love that they didn't fix it at all.
No, they leaned into it, man. That was the brilliance of it.
I just love fun, man. You know, Batman is a very interesting character that can have a lot of ways to do it. And here's my final thing I'll say, because I know I said to you, oh, we'll do it tight too, but we've been having fun. What did you send me about that lady who's writing the Batman movie, Andrew?
Oh, Christina Hodson?
Yeah, what was this? Because I saw that in our private chat, and I was like,
she's the same writer who did Birds of Prey and such hits as The Flash.
She did Birds of Prey. She was one of the many writers on The Flash. She wrote.
She also was one of the writers on Bumblebee, right?
She was the main writer on Bumblebee. That's mostly hers. Yeah. And then she wrote Batgirl. So the fun fact about her, and I have some of her original scripts from when she first started out. They're quite good. She's an assignment writer. So she does what she's told. And when you get onto The Flash and you're like one of the 7 writers that have been on that project for the last decade, you're told, can you fix this? And then she puts forth the stuff that they want to do. And when you have 2 different heads of the company giving you 2 different things, you had a big trouble. I'm not going to defend her. I'm still think it's on the fence, because a very important note to make is that DC Studios has stipulations before they put a script into production. And that means that Christina Hodgson has been offered or won the assignment for Batman Brave and the Bold. But Batman Brave and the Bold is not greenlit. They have a soft target that they want to put into production and release. But James Gunn has been very strict that if the script is not in the right position, then we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And my understanding is that this Brave and the Bold, Christina Hodgson, I think, is the second writer brought in to do it. It's going to be a start brand new from scratch type of thing. So whatever the premise that James Gunn wants to do for Brave and the Bold, that's the only thing that's retained from the previous draft. And Christina Hodgson has to do that. There's been a rumor going around that she wrote a Batman Beyond spec script.
I have heard that rumor.
And I cannot find it because people know about it. No one I know has seen it. So if there's anyone out there, please send it my way, because I'd love to read it. I do have her email address. Maybe I can just email her. Okay, can you send that to me? But yeah, the thing that, because I'm not too worried about Supergirl, because even though it's based off of the Tom King graphic novel, very potentially written one, its theme, well, not necessarily theme, but it's characters and mission only, and everything else from that book is very different, not the same. In the final script, also with the inclusion of Lobo and also with some other aspects of Kara's life, but I'm pretty sure it's going to have the super horse in there, Comet, the super horse.
Let's go.
Again, listen, like,
let's just go all out, but you got to have Streaky too.
Right. Well,
I don't even like cats, but Streaky is Kara's cat.
Exactly. Well, that's the other part too. I mean, one of the things that is very refreshing about the DCU, take it or like it or not, is the fact that it's not ashamed of what it's drawing from to put on the screen.
It's not ashamed to draw from comic books.
It's not ashamed to draw from the Silver Age and bits of the Golden Age and the Bronze Age and the Modern Age and mix it all around and have some fun with it, which is nice, because a movie that takes itself way too seriously when it's inspired by or an adaptation of something that is designed to be a lot of fun, tends to not always play so well or has a very short shelf life in comparison. So I'm looking forward to Supergirl. I'd be very surprised if it made more than like 450 million on the worldwide box office. Like the only way it's going to break that is if that movie is phenomenal and able to rise above the apprehensions of the Supergirl character not being as prominent compared to like Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman or anyone else. So we'll see what happens. I do know that the budget for it is quite modest because they started shooting Supergirl during the last legs of shooting Superman at the same time that they were finishing up Peacemaker and starting production on Lanterns. So that the budget that was supposedly circulating around of what was being spent in Ohio was for multiple DCU projects, not solely Superman. So people trying to say that they spent like $330 million on Superman are lying to you. Whether it's intentional or just misunderstanding how and what was going on with the production schedule.
I mean, nobody would lie about the finances of Superman because they like the Snyder films. Would they, Script? Is that even a possibility?
Oh gosh, no. I mean, if anything, we all know the Snyder film, they don't care about math.
I care about Steiner math, not
All
Snyder
good stories.
Steiner math is brilliant. He knows numbers, but not days of the week. That's
yeah, there's 9 of them apparently.
Nine days out of the week. Yep, there it is.
You know what? When you have biceps on top of biceps, there are more days in the week for you. You're a different class of person. We're down here. Scott Steiner is way up there.
What is hysterical about Zack Snyder is he is very, very active on social media when he should be making a movie, but he's not. And Jay Olivia, the same thing. Recently, he was like going all over to trying to defend his work on Man of Steel and whatnot. And I will say, if you see that, like, again, if they're not selling anything, like they're not on the press junket and they're actively on social media, it means they're not working.
Mm-hmm.
Like James Gunn, he posts like maybe once every other day because he is knee deep in some sort of project or multiple projects that are on the horizon. Probably pre-production or previs of Man of Tomorrow that he's working on. So you're getting them in, sparsed out. But Zack Snyder, he's on Instagram, he's on Blue Sky or whatever the heck those other things are, posting tons of old stills from Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, and his own Justice League. And it's like, if you've got time to do this, man, you're clearly not getting.
You're not working right now.
Yeah, you're not working.
Well, I mean,
calling you back.
Why wouldn't everybody be, blowing up his phone with messages for work after the big hit that was what was that? Rebel Moon, yeah, thing that nobody watched.
I want 9 more. I am so excited about Rebel Moon. It's the next Avatar. I love it just as much.
Oh man, let me tell you.
Yeah,
so it's the next thing that I don't want to watch.
I'm not watching Rebel Moon Part 1 or 2. I'm not watching Avatar 3. I'm taking a stand in 2026, man. Against
it takes a lot to get fired from Netflix, I will say.
You know what though? I wish the best for the human Zack Snyder because I don't want to wish anything bad on people. But man, his movies, I'm so glad they're over. Like, you ever lived through something that you just can't?
What are you talking about, Jeff? Zack Snyder is the blueprint.
No, he is the cinematographer that thinks he's a director, and he should be back to cinematography because he knows how to frame a shot. He knows how to make things look beautiful. He just doesn't know how to get a performance out of an actor, especially one that's been nominated for an Oscar like Ben Affleck. He doesn't know how to craft a narrative. And he also, he has a lot of irresponsibility. Like when you find out your director who's making 4 movies at the same time, but they're really just remakes of the first 2, just R-rated. But you find out that instead of talking to his actors or talking to his crew about what's going to be shot, he set up a small basketball court just off a set and is shooting hoops there instead of sitting behind the camera doing his job at the Video Village.
Wait, this is Snyder?
This is Snyder, yeah.
I didn't know that happened.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like his vision was so wrong beyond the basketball. It's like, I want to adapt to the Injustice universe. And like a bunch of edgy, grimdark dudes got behind it because they're like, we're going to make Superman cool and put him in armor.
A bunch of guys that
people in the
had
eyes.
no idea about comic books.
A bunch of guys that can only gain muscle through steroids. Like, that's what it is.
I like that James Gunn's Superman movie was colorful and bright, and Superman wore trunks, and it was fun. And Mr. Miracle, Mr.
And
Terrific,
he didn't scare children. That was
Yeah.
the best part. Children weren't didn't I got to see the movie twice. Both times, tons of kids there. Not a single one cried or was scared compared to when I saw Man of Steel the first time, where I heard kids crying.
You know, I would have loved to have seen that same audience watch Batman versus Superman, where we get to see the aftermath, where the guy loses his legs and he has to go to the Senate like it's fucking Born on the 4th of July. Like, what movie was this guy trying to make? It made no sense. And then it's like, hey, let's throw in Doomsday and Wonder Woman and Batman, and fucking Metropolis is across the river from Gotham. Every decision was dumb. If you can give me a valid one, I will respectfully listen. If you can change my mind on those movies, I'll pay you a Dukes Brothers bet. But I want you to try to change my mind. I don't want the dollar. I want to be enlightened. Try your best.
I've heard get any enlightenment out of the Snyder film.
I've only heard okay arguments, not enough to convince me or anything. Like the whole Gotham and Metropolis across from the Bay. That's from a couple of comics, I think, from the 60s or 70s, or maybe it was the tail end of the Golden Age. But it changed drastically after that, because people realized, well, how could Superman just ignore Gotham City when it's so close in proximity to Metropolis? And yeah, with all the issues there. And again, that's the biggest irony too. The first live action film team up of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman could not cross $1 billion. Its execution was so horrible that the diehard fans would not want to see it again, just to see those three standing shoulder to shoulder.
Dude, I bought the BVS unrated cut for $2 on Blu-ray at Best Buy. This wasn't like a bargain bin at Walmart or something I got online as a lot for, cheap. I was like, $2, I'll pay it, $3, whatever with tax. I put it on to see what the difference was, and I noticed that the extended scene was that guy walking up the stairs before Batman first appears, and I went, that's it, fuck this. I turned it off. I couldn't sit through it again, dude. Like, it's not me trying to be funny on the internet. I like this stuff enough to spend time and money on it, and I just felt like I was sold a bill of goods that I didn't ask for. Like, and then the Snyder cut's like, oh, well, now we got Martian Manhunter. He's secretly just been this black guy the whole time. Or was that in the regular BVS?
No, that was only in the
That was in the Snyder cut.
Snyder cut Justice League, the 4-hour slog.
Yeah.
It was
which took a bad movie and then made another bad movie, but twice as long.
And was spending another $80 million on it. So, congratulations, Zack Snyder. You hoodwinked the Warner Brothers for the last time.
Yeah, people are jerking off over the open mat presentation and all this other dumb shit. It's that's great if you like it. I'm not gonna shit on it. Shit on you for liking it. I'm just gonna shit on.
I have no problem with people liking it. I just have a problem with the behavior when they're trying to say it's definitive and it should be what the character is going forward. And I'm like, it's kind of antithetical to the moral of it. Like, Superman fights for truth and justice, and more recently the American way, but he fights for truth and justice. He's an inspiration of hope. He is sometimes a dick, which is really funny, not just to Jimmy Olsen, but also to some of the antagonists that are after him. But he also has a really good heart, and that's something that you have to convey with the character. Otherwise, people are going to see that it is not the character. It's just someone pretending to be that character. Just like how, as you mentioned earlier, you did a video on Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Well, it's not Star Trek. It just happens to have the name brand on it, and it's trying to pervert the aesthetic. I put a post on X how it's literally a mix of Dawson's Creek meets Summer School. That 80s movie where the teacher's the cool hip guy, and guess what? Mark Harmon, yeah, and guess what? The chancellor is the cool hip chancellor who used to do pranks when they were a cadet themselves, 400 years ago. And it's a story about school that happens to have the Starfleet blend. There's nothing to it. It's vacuous. And
go ahead, sorry.
And then all I'll say is that it's a travesty, because the 60th anniversary of Star Trek should be something special, and it should really have the pinnacle of television for science fiction. And it's being led by a man who doesn't like science fiction, who managed to position himself in a way where he convinced a studio that no one would be interested in running Star Trek, so he will do it as a favor of sorts, and has been riding off of that for a little over a decade. And all he has done is devalued that IP by polluting it with this alternative version. And it's tragic because I firmly believe that when Enterprise was canceled, that is when the world no longer believed in a hopeful future anymore, because we didn't have a reminder that we could do it. And that is why the first quarter of the 21st century has been a shit show.
It has been a shit show. Like I always say, like, we're living through history, but that's not always a good thing. Let me rephrase it. We're living through historical events, but that's not a good thing.
In the decade of the 1990s, when Star Trek was on air throughout the entire decade, you could count on one hand the amount of international level controversies that occurred, especially when it came to like Western world. We were able to rise above it. We were able to acknowledge it, try and figure out a problem and solution. Wasn't a great solution because, again, nothing was, but we managed to persevere and go better. As soon as Enterprise is gone, everything just kind of spun out of control. Nobody believed in anything anymore. Nobody had a North Star to guide them anymore. Even if you were on the a religious person, you were still getting perverted manipulations for things about your faith. And if you were agnostic or an atheist, you're being told, like, without religion, you have no guidance and you have no moral compass, and therefore, you know, your value system is completely irrelevant. And it was just a whole mess of things, and it's just been going exponentially ever since. And all we needed was Star Trek, or something that reminded us or told us that, you know what, as young as we are as a species, as incompetent as we can be, one day we will figure it out and we will be everything that we hoped to be.
I would love that optimistic, bright future. I think, script, all joking aside, like, that bright optimism ended when the new millennium hit, because we all had a shared thing.
Yep.
And then when that shared thing died, it was, well, social media splits us. I'm not saying that was like a social engineering thing. I'm just saying, like, we all have our own interests. Yeah, like, we all have our own feeds, and we're all living in our feeds. And I don't know, man. I do like to watch classic Star Trek and go, like, this could be cool, you know, even though I've been on record saying I don't really like the Next Generation. Some of the stuff in there, I go, that's pretty cool, outside of Whoopi Goldberg at that bar. Like, I want to like this stuff more than I present outwardly, because I think Captain Kirk's cool as shit. Like,
he is, yeah.
I love Han Solo, but, like, Captain Kirk is just a step beneath, like, TV show Captain Kirk is a step beneath Han Solo, but he's cooler than almost every other, like, non-Darth Vader Star Wars character. Like, the dude's just cool. There's something that oozes charisma, and the whole crew, there's just something so cool and great about that, because each character is an archetype, but each character is aspirational, meaning, like, somebody out there wants to be every member of the Enterprise. I'll be Captain Kirk because that's the cool shit. Somebody wants to be Spock, McCoy, anybody. Everybody has somebody that they like.
I know people that want to be Billy Blackburn, who was a day player / extra in the original series.
You see what I mean, though? Who the hell wants to be the 400-year-old HR captain or whatever? Who wants to be the Michael Burnham lady? Who wants to be that weird chick with the weird frizzy hair, or the random black lady that looks like she's never seen Star Trek in her life? Like, what is this that they're trying to give us? Like, it's beyond just, like, it's just dumb. It's laughable. When you were a kid, you wanted to be any of the characters, like, from anything, Batman, superhero stuff, Star Wars. And you're like, there's tons of characters. If you're like, hey, let's be the Starfleet Academy crew. First off, who? And secondly, why? I looked into the show when I made the video. Can't watch it on good faith. Can't do it. Can't do it.
I will say this. What's very tragic about it is of the Kurtzman Trek, it is the best, which is bad. Like, it's really bad, because the reason being is that, so Alex Kurtzman, he doesn't know how to do a show of looking at other strange new worlds, societies, etc., exploration of the human condition. What he does know how to do is teen angst and drama. And what better place to do that than a school? But he forgets that Starfleet Academy isn't your typical school. It's the school where your geniuses go to take on the greatest challenge humanity ever faces, which is exploring space, the most dangerous profession in the world. And you are in that school for 4 years, where they are literally putting you in simulations, trying to kill you every day so that you will be able to survive a 5-year mission. And guess what? Even in Kirk's era, rarely do starship crews return after a 5-year mission. Kirk was like one of the first to ever do it. That's why he was promoted to admiral the moment he returned to dry dock after 5 years.
I don't mean to be redundant, but man, that's a cool character.
Yeah, man. I love Kirk. He's great. My favorite character is Bones McCoy. Obviously,
he's great too.
Because he's great, because his philosophy towards medicine is exactly what medicine should always be. But he also compliments Kirk a lot. And then also he compliments Spock, even with his conflict with Spock and Spock's emotionless approach to things. But even with their conflict, which Gene Roddenberry laughably ignores and says, oh, the characters in the original series didn't have conflict amongst each other. Like, yes, they did, but they were not petty conflicts. They were debating conflicts. They were conflicts like, I respect you, you're my friend, and I disagree with you on this part here, but I can't disagree with the points that you make. And at the same time, I know you can't disagree with the points I'm making. It's basically the opinions are the disagreements, not the facts. And that's what made it fun to watch those three interact.
Just thinking about him, calling him a green-blooded whatever.
Vulcan. The green-blooded Vulcan.
I always said bastard, but I'm like, Star Trek's not that cool. They weren't cussing.
No, but the funny part is D. Kelly would always be thinking of a swear word that he's intending to say and then replace it with Vulcan.
You're out of your Vulcan mind. I'm pretty sure he says that at some point in the show. So it's, too, it's like the show took itself seriously, but not too seriously. So you watch it and like you learn something, you think, but you're also like, what the hell's a Tribble? Or what the hell's was it the Gorn, right? That green monster?
The Gorn were great. Gosh, man. The Arena is a fantastic episode.
The music. Oh, I went to medieval times when I was in Florida, and I kept thinking of the Cable Guy. And when they were running around doing their sword fighting, in my head, I'm thinking of the Star Trek fight music because of that scene in the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
That music is so good.
That's Alexander Courage. Great guy. He also worked a little bit on Batman, the Dozier series.
Oh, shit. That era of TV is very fascinating to me because it's like not as stupid as like My Mother the Car or Mr. Ed, but it's got like Bewitched and other random.
A horse is a horse, of course.
Well, you know how they made Mr. Ed talk? I mean, not like literally talk, but the effect.
They gave him food, peanut butter and things.
Yeah. Under his lip, he's like the whole time. Wilbur.
So the 60s was the debut of the color television. And this is where you got to experiment. That's why a bunch of the sets are bright, colorful. They're not muted or anything because people are like, they have color. Let's show them the full spectrum of color on this TV. That's why Star Trek has all the colored uniforms and the bridges like gray and reds and blues. That's why Bewitched has like, the colorful house, the living room. Same thing with the Brady Bunch. Even with Gilligan's Island, they got the Skipper and Gilligan in the red and blue. And then, of course, the Howe family dressed up in all these elaborate costumes. And then, Ginger and the movie star and Marianne with their little outfits. God, that's a sexy show.
Marianne, man, she was better than Ginger.
Oh, yeah. Well, Ginger only ever had one side of her face showing the camera because she was embarrassed about the other half, which she had nothing to be embarrassed for. But, Marianne exuded confidence that just transcended that.
That lady aged incredibly well too. Like,
oh yeah, but the thing is, all those shows, because you had this, because it was affordable to broadcast and film in color, because color film has existed for decades prior to its debut in the 60s. It was just very expensive to process, which is why most things were in black and white for a great deal of time. But in the 60s, when color TVs became more frequent, shows decided, hey, we're going to be more colorful, but we're not just going to be colorful in our sets. We're going to like push the edge and be colorful with our stories. And that's why you have this like really amazing, like as movies were kind of like the studio system was kind of failing, television was rising and picking up the slack. And then once you get to the 80s, those two kind of converged. And then that lasted all the way towards the end of the 90s, in which case they then started to separate again as the internet became a new platform. But man, the risks that they took in the 60s, the stories that Green Acres, man, what a kooky show.
I know that theme song by heart, sadly.
And then only a handful of years later, you got The Love Boat.
I watched every episode script. I made it through all 9 seasons.
Have you seen Barney Miller yet?
No. Should I?
Yes, you should.
All right, let me write it down. Because that's Abe Vigoda, right?
That's Abe Vigoda. That's Yeah, it's a very good cast there. And also when one of the main cast members passes away, they do a beautiful tribute to him. And they keep his spirit alive in the show for the rest of the series.
Is it on Paramount Plus? Let's see. Barney Miller. It is on Tubi. Okay, I'll watch it. Ron Glass, the dude from Supernatural or Firefly. Cool.
Yeah.
Old TV is good. Old movies are good. I don't like to live in the past, but I also don't like to avoid classic entertainment because new stuff has CGI or better cinematography. Sometimes I'm entertained by a Family Ties rerun more so than Ironheart's special effects and magic.
Well, I would say when you even come down to like the dramas of that time, like I know Landman's pretty popular, but Landman is a very hypocritical show because it fools people into thinking that's promoting conservative values, but there's nothing conservative about anything that the characters are doing. And they have a lot of speeches about the silliness of certain protesters, like environmental protesters and stuff, which is, it's fine, but you're preaching to a choir there as opposed to presenting a new idea or a nuanced argument as to why it's wrong. It's just flat face in your face type of stuff here. And on top of that, Taylor Sheridan is laughing at the audience because he knows he's doing what's called working the crowd. He knows exactly what they want to hear. He knows how to say it. He knows how to put the people that they don't like into position, but then he'll also spin something else afterwards and put in a point that's counter to the supposed beliefs of the people that he is appealing to. And he's gauging to see if they'll swallow it. And they do every time. And it's quite fascinating.
Do you think it's a smart move with the success he currently has? Because at Christmas, we were talking about TV shows that everybody watches, and Landman was the show that everyone was. Besides, I'm watching Tulsa King. They all watch Tulsa King as well. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, the shows are hitting with, my family's not necessarily, like, politically, we're all over the board.
No, it hits with beyond the political spectrum, but the loudest people are definitely like those that would say that they're on the right.
And the weird thing is too that like whatever his show spawned, like there's because I know he's like 1928 and all that other stuff too, but like you get these like really crappy movies that want to sell like their identity as one side of the aisle, and the movies don't turn out to be good. It's like they all have the same poster, they all have the same bullshit premise. It's some hokey thing, and I'm just like, I can't take that seriously either. Like that Neil McDonough cowboy movie looked horrible, like a joke.
Yes.
And I'm just, but then I hear people talk about it like it has all this virtue, and I go, hey, if that's your game, more power to you. I respect you. I just want to be entertained, and you can't sell me any kind of like idyllic look back. Like I am working on a video that's not political, but it involves somebody who is political, and they're myopic. Again, I'll use the word Andrew, view on entertainment. Actually, it's not even myopic. It's just factually incorrect. Like I don't really care about differing opinions, but like if somebody with some kind of status is putting out factually incorrect stuff to present a certain argument and then, get their audience to buy into it, I think that's bullshit and it's not world class. And I'm going to step out of my comfort zone to directly make this video about this dude. He's not like a YouTuber that we know. He's like a big political guy, but he goes on about shit. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. I don't even know what your politics are, but you don't know about movies. So don't sit and tell me that the 1980s was so clean cut when rated PG films had tits in it and movies for kids, the kids were cussing. Like, don't give me this fucking your world view of the 1980s, which isn't even real. You're factually incorrect. So clearly I get riled up talking about it. I can't wait to make the video.
I'm excited to still listen to that one.
Yeah, I'll tell you who it is right off. I'll tell you right off the air. Like, I'm not going to pull punches, but the video will literally start with, this video is not political. If you think it is, think again. And that's it. That's as far as I'm going to put as a whatever. And then it's off to the races because it's literally going to be a tweet and me telling this guy why he's dumb and giving you I'm going to probably give him 50 examples. I'm going to make it nauseatingly detailed. Just so he shuts the fuck up. God damn, I hate this guy. I don't even know his politics. I just hate his take on entertainment. But I'm going to leave it there because I will go on a rant and I don't want to say shit. It's
no problem because what I'll do I'll put this out there. So classic writers who happen to be of like a conservative mindset, say prior to the mid 1990s, they knew actually how to tell a very nuanced story. But today, what I've seen with current day conservatives, and I don't equate them to the same as that part. And I don't mean any disrespect to them either. I'm fine with their points of view and their belief because I share a number of those same ideas. is that when they're going into entertainment, they usually have the same dynamic, and you can find this across a number of shows. And I'll give a few examples. That you have the father, who is the staunch conservative, always right, but his kids are losers or pathetic or flawed and need a lot of help and guidance, almost as if they didn't have a parent around growing up. They're very incompetent. And then over the course of the show, the father will help nurture and guide them. But instead of those children accomplishing something on their own, the father will start giving them handouts in the ways of money or job opportunities at the company that he works at in order for them to have a stable income and life to go on and then become successful. Essentially, they're getting a handout. And this occurs in Last Man Standing by Tim Allen. It's also somewhat occurring in his latest show, Shifting Gears. It's also occurred in Landman, where the season 2 ends with Tommy being fired from the other company. He starts an LLC and he puts it in his son's name. And his son, who's now the president of a company that he didn't really earn because he managed to negotiate some fair trade-off leases and then get into debt with some criminal enterprise that we don't even know how that happened. But now he's the owner of this company without putting much of any effort in there. It's all talk, negotiations, and networking. And where's the earning? Where's the obstacles to overcome in order to have a reward that feels like it was earned as opposed to gifted by way of a central character whose children don't really listen to him until that central character starts giving them money, opportunities, and foundation. That, I would say, is a disservice to the politics of that type, but that is usually the formula you're going to see from modern day conservative leading shows and films. And
that was an excellent point. Holy shit, I had to write that down. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
that's okay. So good I wrote it down. Like, that is going to be clipped.
And the thing is, it bothers me as a creative because it's like it doesn't fall into the values. It's basically saying like, yeah, I'm pro-conservative, but every conservative parent or family has those kids that are rebelling. Yes, maybe they have different politics, but the rebellion, and then it's up to them to pull them back. And instead of setting them goals to achieve, they just say, oh, you used to work in a restaurant. Well, you know what I'm going to do? In my business, I'm going to open a restaurant. I'm going to appoint you the manager, even though you've only ever been a waitress. And then you're going to run it successfully because I'm going to be running it for you by proxy and training you how to do the job that you should have already taken the initiative to do on your own. Like, that is not a good message to send if that is your political leaning in your entertainment.
I don't think enough people are thinking about the layers in depth, which I wish everybody would, because it would make everything more interesting.
Because I really like Tulsa King because it's the inversion of the bad guy coming into town and, like, you know, the McDonald's coming into town and running out the mom and pop burger shop. Because that's what Sly Stallone is. He's McDonald's coming into town and he's like saying, oh, things are going to change here because I'm McDonald's. I got more money. I got more access. I got more connections, and I'm going to push you out, and I'm going to take over, you know, the marijuana growing. I'm going to take over the gambling. And I'm going to take over alcohol. It's like, that's a villain attitude entering into the small towns, and they play it to the point where he's the hero, and everybody that's worked hard and established the business that they have there that he's taking over easily are the bad guys. And I think that's funny, and I think that's very clever writing there. Latest season not so well executed, but I mean, I like the inversion and how it's working out. But again, the other part too is it also devoids conflict, and the best stories that we love are like insurmountable conflict that's overcome. Like, you have a farm boy and Luke Skywalker who manages to destroy the Death Star. And he's not handed anything. He's kind of dragged a little bit around, and then he has to come up with his own plan to rescue the princess. And he ends up doing that at the expense of the mentor that helped him get along the way and taught him lessons and it allowed him to fail so that he could like go back up and forward. And what really just kind of bothers me is that when I hear this from people that like they pitch me stories and like, yep. So I hope my politics don't bother you. I'm like, nope, they don't bother me. It's like, okay, so I got this story and it's about this conflict, and the main characters are going to be these ex-military trained people that are up against another, like, you know, terrorist force. And it's like, so you're going to be putting in trained soldiers that should know how to handle a terrorist force, and it's a story about him handling a terrorist force. Yes. Where's the drama? Like, give me like a football coach. Like, give me a football coach who's at a game, and all of a sudden terrorists take over, and he's the only one able to kind of save his family and save the people at the stadium, because he is outside of his field of expertise. And that's what we want to see. We want to see someone use their wit and guile in a thing that they're not prepared or trained to do to try and see if they can save the people they care about.
Yeah. If the name hadn't already been taken, you could call it the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
It's Die Hard in a stadium. That's the tagline.
Yes. And
oh
the
wait,
thing
that's
is,
that
like,
Van Damme movie.
and I hear it all the time, and every time I'm just like, why do you want, like, listen, I'm pro-military too, but throw the military into a situation that they're not trained to do, and you'll actually have drama and entertainment. But if you keep throwing them the stuff that everyone will be like, oh yeah, they should be fine for that, you're essentially kind of Mary suing your main characters.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving them all the skill sets they need in order to achieve their goal with nothing to learn, and now it's just kind of like, par for the course, go with the flow, and it's not fun. That's why I love Die Hard. He's a cop going up against bank robbers who are posing as terrorists who have massive ordnance and have a ton of hostages, and he's all by himself. He is out of his league, and he manages to pull it off. And his skill set is not like top tier. He's screwing up. He's figuring things out. He doesn't have any shoes on. And he's also he's dealing with a wife that is, he doesn't know what his future relationship is going to be. There's a lot going on that's not allowing him to maintain his focus. And his only solace is Al outside, trying to encourage him. It's like, hey man, you're all on your own, but I'm here for you. And if we can meet and whatever, I'm going to give you a big hug. It's just,
hey, Roy.
we like those types of things. Ellen Ripley, a scientist on the Nostromo, dealing with an alien creature that no one's ever seen before, surviving by the skin of her teeth, comes back in Aliens. This is what I learned. Are you going to learn to me? The entire Marine Corps thinks that they know what they're in for and that they can take care of it. Ends up becoming overwhelmed. It's just Ripley, Hicks, and Bishop and Newt. Drama. Can they please just do that these days? I mean, it's bad enough we don't get that type of nuance on the crazy woke tards, but I don't want to see the same thing paralleled, on the other side.
There needs to be balance, man. You're preaching to the choir right here. Believe me, these are the thoughts I have about a lot of this stuff. I don't necessarily always know how to approach the topic in terms of, what WCBS is and stuff like that, but I do have those thoughts, and maybe I'll write down my own. I'll come up with a secondary channel, Jeff's Deep Thoughts, and we'll do stuff like that. Probably won't happen, but no, I want that, and I want the people in charge not to flip, just to go to the other side, the other extreme.
Me too. I don't want that either. I don't want the pendulum to be constantly swinging back and forth onto the extremes. I would like a nice little kind of like it's losing momentum, but it's circulating in the middle type of thing. And then every once in a while, I'll go a little bit left or a little bit right or a little bit forward or a little bit back. And that's fine, because that could encourage different thought and expose some nuanced ideas. But when you're too far over on one side to the other, it just ruins it for everybody.
I agree. And I'm hoping that we, as mainstream superhero geek culture stuff that we all like, tries. I don't think actually it'll course correct too much. Last thing I'll ask you guys: have you ever heard of a channel called Captain Midnight, or at least aware of it?
I think so. That sounds.
I don't
familiar.
watch many YouTubers that aren't you or channels that I watch for research.
I think I got recommended a video from him because there's Captain Midnight, and then I also watch Salazar Night because he does some good Batman stuff, and I'm pretty.
I love that guy
because I love him too. I'm pretty sure because they both have night in the night. I got a recommendation from that on YouTube.
Well, long story short, let me get the exact title card to just read you it. I don't need to show you. It's a yellow title card with Captain America's face. But let's see. I just want to get the exact name. Captain Midnight. Because I saw this title card and I was like, I got to ask these guys this before we go. It was Avengers Doomsday's marketing seems off, but the title is This Seems Desperate. So it's kind of very direct in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Are you getting any desperation, or do you think it's a little too early? I just don't feel anything.
No, I don't feel desperation yet. I do know that Marvel's working really hard to try and build anticipation for this. It's an uphill battle, man. But yeah, I don't.
Well, the hardest thing to fight against is apathy.
That's right.
Yep. It's gonna take. If I didn't have this channel and do what we do, would I rush out to see the movie? Probably not. I'd wait till my friends are available and we'd all go make it a shared experience if we went and saw it in the first place. I just wish they could find a way to make me pumped. All I'm asking for is recognizable characters that we all like done well. I don't want the B list. I don't want the C list. I don't want those Disney Plus people. It's not a bigotry. It's I watch their shows. I wasted my time. They suck. Okay. Show me. I don't care what color the damn characters are. Like when it comes to the X-Men, just put Bishop in it. Put Storm.
Yeah.
I don't need. Well, Cyclops should be fuck
And
off.
for the love of God, cast Storm properly for the
Not
first
Cynthia
time in your
Erivo?
freaking lives.
No, please, no.
You haven't heard that rumor that's going around? Like they're trying to make that hard.
That's
That
her.
happen hard.
Yeah, that's her publicity team trying to do that.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
no.
thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
I don't need like.
She could be
Those
one of the
are-
Morlocks. You know,
Yeah, she
I
looks
was
just
gonna
like
say-
Bleach.
Yeah, I don't need Gollum. You know, playing Aurora Monroe. No, thank you.
no, there's a number of talented actresses out there that could definitely play that have not broken to the mainstream yet.
Yeah,
And
Storm needs to be gorgeous.
she needs to. Well, I mean, remember, she's considered a god.
Yeah,
Or-
she's considered a goddess by
not
many.
just for her powers, but also with her beauty. So, find us that.
We haven't look. I like Halle Berry, like looks wise, but I don't think she was a good Storm at all.
She was a horrible casting choice for Storm, but she is pretty. Yes.
Like
No,
in
no, she's
Die Another
beautiful,
Day,
but-
she comes out of the water.
Not Storm, not Catwoman.
No.
Not really a good actor. Just gonna put that out there. I watched Passenger 57 recently.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, sorry, Executive Decision. Excuse
Executive
me.
Decision.
Hmm.
She was also in, I think, the Felum remake, right?
The which remake?
Felum 253. That's
Thinking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I've only seen the
Was
original.
that her? I think that was her.
But
Taking
I looked at her in this movie and I was like, I know you're gonna win an Oscar in about 8 years, but I never got like outside of her being hot, she's not a good actress at all. Like she sucks as Sharon Stone in the Flintstones. It's not that like it's not a hard role. It's just like she just plays herself as sexy, and then when she tries to do something different, she's Catwoman, and that movie's a waste. So
Yeah.
guys, it's 3:30 and 3 hours 30 minutes into the show. It's almost 1. It's 12:30 here. So
I
unless
blame
there's anything
myself. That's my fault. I'm sorry.
No. I was gonna tell you, I think the thing is the numbers haven't gone down. My metric is like if there's a time when the numbers keep going down, it means it's too late and people are tired. Our number has stayed consistent for the last hour straight as we've gotten into the more deeper philosophical stuff. So don't apologize because I enjoyed it. The audience enjoyed it. I think that needs to get out there more because we all want to talk about fun shit like lightsabers and wrestling and dumb crap. But let's just find a smart, fun, better way to talk about it. It's not about, liking everything blindly. How much have we shit on tonight? But we didn't use buzzwords. Came up with real valid reasons. I just want to have that kind of discourse. And I'm glad we did it, Script, Andrew, all of us here in the chat. It was a good night. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, I know we didn't hit our goal. So if you want to see the picture of me in the snow with the snow speeder, there's a shitty one on my Instagram, the Jeff Hicks. Follow me over there. Cheap plug. But we'll be back on Thursday with a podcast. And I wrote 4 scripts over the last week. So you got a lot of world-class content coming. I'm doing the best to get so front-loaded coming up with evergreen content. So you're like, oh shit, it's Tuesday. Jeff must have a new video out. So
Nice.
Thursday's actually the date for it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Spend the later part when your work week is kind of and you're having fun. That's when WCBS kicks in because we're here to remind you how great life is when you're away from work. So come hang out with us on Thursday night. We have another great show for you. And like I said, Nick and I are recording on Sunday for all those wonderful people who helped us reach our big super chat goal on Thursday night show. We have for you our mini doc about the trip to Florida, which includes a visit to the Lego store as well. So
Nice.
yeah, it was a good time.
And I just want to say, the last show we did, someone asked me about the Patrick McGowan Disney program of The Scarecrow. I did find a copy of it, so I forget who asked me about that, but reach out to me on the Twitter's X's there. I'd be happy to get you that copy digitally for you.
I'll reach out to you just because I want to watch it on principle.
Cool.
Is there anything else you guys want to say before we put this baby to bed?
I missed you guys. I'm glad we're here.
Hey,
It's great to be with you guys as always.
I'm glad we did this as well. It feels like whatever forces are out there want this to happen because I always said if the topics are good and it's time to assemble, no Revengers is reference I'm trying to get at it. That's what we'll do. And so tonight was perfect, and I have a feeling that we'll be back next week because there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, and you guys need some world-class content. It's cold. There's a lot of garbage going on in the world right now. So join us where it's fun every night of the week. But since we've pretty much all said our goodbyes, it's time to go. So, folks, thank you for watching. I'll be back next time with more. But in the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool. Join us on Thursday for our Royal Rumble predictions, but always be excellent to each other.
Say his name and he appears.